Hello. 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 Okay, so hello, welcome. Hello, welcome to the Dreamland. Welcome, Miss Mina. Hello. Sorry about that. Hello. Hello, Arson. Hello, Argo. I see you're busy today. That's okay, Argo. I hope you'll have a good time regardless. Hello to Six. Thank you so much for being here today. What does the comment say? You're meant to read the White Bookmark and Black Bookmark story before the pop quiz. I'm pretty sure I have a guide on hand for the thing Mina's missing to unlock the Black Bookmark in case Argo doesn't already. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we are at the moment stuck on. Wait, no, now I'm confused. Do I do the White Bookmark now, or do I unlock the? Well, I kind of knew. I feel like I knew that it was called the Black Bookmark, but I should do White Bookmark next. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, just give me a second. Let me just get everything going. Okay. Yeah, so, we are just doing more bonus shit. White Bookmark and then we'll give... Okay. I am doing good today. Today we are playing more of this game. Let me just bring my thingy closer. Right. We were just fucking around getting the endings and stuff. And then it's tab. Yeah, okay. Also, let me know if the sound is good and all that. I still need to get the real ending. The game isn't over yet, you bitch. Jesus. Okay. Well, let's see what Susan is up to. Hope she ain't dying. Oh, jeez. That was dramatic. It's almost 1 o'clock. Oh, no. Yeah, he already told me that there's a real ending. Don't worry about it. That... I know. I know. I know. It's okay. Takuya Kazama watched the orderly collect his meal tray, waiting for the door to fully close behind him before slipping out of bed. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay. Just let me know anything about sound, the usual, you know. He dragged the folding chair closest to the window and sat down. Then he meticulously scanned the entire length of the vast central courtyard outside. From up here on the second floor, he had a great view of the whole open space. Aww. Little kid. The hospital building was shaped like a boxy U, enclosing the promenade that wove its way between the trees, where pajama-clad patients and visitors from their families were enjoying the first day of sunshine to come along in a while. Not yet. She still isn't here. Aww. I seem to be doing okay today. If she does show up in the courtyard, I'll sneak out for a walk myself. And then I'll make sure I go and talk to her. Aww. Hey, what's your name? I can't just up and ask her like that. Maybe I should tell her my name first. I'm Takuya. Who are you? Or is it silly to tell her what my name is when she hasn't even asked? So what's wrong with you? No, she's been here at least as long as I have. Whatever it is can't be anything small. So yeah, no way I can open with that. That comes later. Much later. Nice weather we're having. Nah, what am I? 90 years old? That's old, man. Say something hip. We need to say something hip, guys. You come out here all the time, huh? This is the only place I'm allowed to go. It's fine. No, that's terrible. Might as well say I've been watching you. You'll think I'm a stalker. In the midst of his internal debate, Takuya happened to cast his gaze back onto the courtyard, and there she was, standing right under his window. She wore a white cardigan over her pajamas, standing with her head tilted back and her eyes closed, basking in the light of the sun. The angle finally gave him a good look at her face. The wind caught her evenly cropped bangs, blowing them back to expose the delicate curve of her forehead. She looked deeply happy as she stood, breathing, a gentle smile across her face. Live action. Wow. Animation. Oh my god. Heartbeat of spring. We're playing a new game now. We're playing a new game, guys. Welcome to the new Let's Play of Heartbeat of Spring. Thank you for coming. Hope you're having a good time. Seiya felt as though she were smiling at him, and it brought a tightness to his chest. He'd always thought that it would make him impossibly happy, where that angelic smile ever just turned his way. So why did it hurt so much instead? He saw her open her eyes back up, and he hurriedly backed away from the window. She saw me. Did she? No, there's no way she could see and hear with the glare. But what does it even matter? I was gonna talk to her anyway, right? So go on, get out there. Fighting his nerves, Takuya moved back to the windowsill. She was gone. Where she disappeared to? Takuya scrambled out of his room and rushed to the elevator. It'll be alright, my muscles learn Tuesday. Today's a good day. Takuya, where are you going? He recognized the voice of a familiar nurse calling out from behind him, but he ignored her and jammed his thumb on the close button. Once he was down on the first floor, he made his way to the courtyard exit, slipped on some sandals, and headed outside. He's sneaky. He's sneaking. Takuya, not Takuya. Oh, come on. Argo, you have too many traumas. You need help. He pretended to be out for a walk as he wandered in search of the girl, but went the length of the courtyard and back to the spot under his window without fighting her. That's odd. Usually she stays out here a lot longer. You look a little pale. Are you alright? Huh? Oh, there she is. He turned and saw the girl sitting on a nearby bench. Seiya took half a step back in surprise. Somehow he'd missed her in the shadow of the trees. I'm sorry, she said. Did I startle you? No, not really. You look like you're in pain. Should I go get a doctor? He was right. He wasn't used to so much walking. I'll be right. I just need to rest for a bit, he said, relieved he'd managed to answer. Lately his words hadn't been coming out all that well. The girl stood up and reached a hand out to him, but Takuya couldn't bring himself to take it. Instead, he simply sat down on the bench. Not too close to her, but not too far away either. His heart suddenly began pounding, but he couldn't tell if it was because of his exhaustion or because he was too close to her. So, you're the boy from that room up there, right? He pointed to his window on the second floor, and Takuya had to stifle a gasp. A little earlier, we made eye contact, didn't we? Did we? Takuya mumbled, averting his gaze. I was just spacing out, I didn't notice. I've seen you up there from time to time. You look lonely. Are you not able to leave your room much? You didn't notice that I'm always looking at her. Good. Yeah. I get tired real easy. I see. I'm not able to get very much exercise myself. But they told me that when I'm feeling well enough for it, I should get up and walk around for a bit so my leg muscles don't get weak. You have a problem with your leg? No, with my heart. They say the legs are like a second heart. They play an important part in blood circulation. So if my leg muscles get too weak, it's bad for my health. You know how when a racehorse breaks a leg and winds up dying? I guess it's sort of like that. Wow. Her tone was cheerful enough, as if she talked about this all the time, but the thought filled Takuya with sadness. So, he began. Yes? You... And if I ask you your name? As he fumbled the words out, the girl broke into a beaming smile. That wonderful smile, the one that until now he had only seen from afar, so many, many times. Susune Endo. The Susune is written with the characters for bell and sound, so like the chiming of bells. Susune, chiming of bells. Just a name that suited her soothing voice perfectly. Susune Endo. Takuya repeated the name to himself over and over. What's your name? Takuya. Takuya Kasama. Takuya Kasama, huh? Pretty cool name. It is. Anyone who has the last name Kasama is a cool guy to me. I guess it means tough guy or something. But then I live up to that. You know how they sometimes cast siblings that look nothing alike? Actors, but I could buy this as being Achi's sister. Yeah, she's got, yeah, like, they found an actress that has, like, definitely very similar vibes to Achi. Like, I can't explain it, but the truth was that Takuya was always embarrassed to tell strangers his name. I don't know about that. You seem pretty cool to me, Takuya. How old are you? Takuya's heart sank. Only kids had to be told they were cool. I'm 14. What about you, Susanne? From afar, he hadn't realized how tall she was. Taller than him and probably older. I'm 17. He thought the difference would be less. We whole years apart. Takuya's heart sank further. Now she seemed even more unattainable. Aw, man. Just wait until you grow up, my bro. It's okay. He tried to figure a way to nonchalantly ask Susanne where her room was, but, he heard the slaps of sandals approaching. Susanne! The boy came running up. He was young, maybe in first grade or so. Hi, Ken. Long time no see. Is your brother? Takuya asked. No, he's in the room next to mine. Who's this? The boy clung possessively to Susanne's knee as he feared at Takuya. This is Takuya Kazama. He's a patient like us. Huh. I got some candy. Want to eat it? The boy tugged on Susanne's hand. Oh, yeah? Alright then, Takuya. I'll see you later. Yeah, later. Later? Later when? I'm actually gonna get to see her again? As Takuya watched the young boy drag Susanne back inside, he felt a bitter surge of resentment. He thought that finally getting the chance to talk to her would make him feel a lot better, but instead he felt worse than he had back when all he could do was stare at her through the window. The sunlit garden suddenly struck him as cold and desolate, so he trudged back inside, his muscles faintly shuddering with each step. Oh, the poor boy. He made his way back toward the elevator and found the head nurse waiting in the corridor, glaring at him. He kept his head down as he tried to slip on past her, but she snapped at him as he drew near. What were you talking about with Miss Endo? Huh? Takuya blushed at the idea that she'd been watching him, but he soon realized he was being serious. You shouldn't get too close to that girl. Why not? He asked. You may not look it, but she's seriously ill. Neither of you has the ability to fend off a major infection. We certainly don't want you to go catching anything. The nurse looked away as she spoke, rattling off the words. They let her go outside like that, right? Yes, that's true. But Takuya, where in the world did you go out? Did the doctor tell you to go for a walk? No, but I thought that since I was feeling pretty well and all. You expect me to believe that? You're shaking. Come on, let's get you back to bed. The nurse ushered Takuya into the elevator and escorted him back to his room. He was actually quite exhausted, and so he quietly got back into bed. Damn. Takuya called out to her as she was leaving. Yes? Isn't it? Miss Endo, I mean. She's got a bad heart, doesn't she? Did she tell you that? For whatever reason, the head nurse seemed quite shocked that Susanne had shared this information. Yeah. Huh, okay. She's not the type to really go around and share that kind of stuff. Interesting. What is she sick with? It's something very serious. That's why you ought to leave her alone. But she's gonna get better, right? Takuya regretted the question the instant he asked it. The nurse's grim expression was answer enough. Sweet and cheerful girl like that had an incurable illness? For a while, Takuya couldn't even believe it. After the nurse had left, he stared at the closed door in a daze. Yeah, I mean, unless she gets a new heart, basically. As far as I understood. Might just be me misunderstanding it, but I'm gonna turn down the game line just a little bit. It's Kokoro's Brokero. Big Brokero. Whip. Argo, please. Can you not? Can you not? From that day on, Takuya kept up his vigilant watch on the courtyard, sneaking out of his room whenever he caught sight of Susanne. Bit by bit, the two of them began talking more. Sometimes she'd come 2 days out 2 days in a row, and sometimes he wouldn't see her for nearly a week at a time. Other times he would wander the hospital corridors in search for a room, only to be intercepted and sent back to his own room by the head nurse. Susanne was quite popular, most especially the old men, old women, and young children at the hospital all seemed devoted to her, their faces lighting up whenever she was around. She was kind enough to listen to all their grumbling and trifling conversations, Takuya was equal parts impressed and baffled by her ability to relate to them. Like he learns how to be social. He learned how to be social and a good boy. He could never put up this sort of thing. More than anything, though, her popularity was frustrating. He would have had much more time alone with her if all these people weren't always around. He felt like he was the last in a long line of supplicants waiting for her to grace him with a few moments of her time. But after she learned about Takuya's condition, perhaps out of some strange form of camaraderie, Suzuno seemed to develop more of an interest in him. Wilson's disease? I've never heard of it. Is it serious? Oh god. Also known as hepatolenticular degeneration. I think I said that right. Mina's pronunciation. It's fine. I won't bother. It's fine. Don't worry about it. A congenital abnormality of the liver cells, in which the cell's ability to eliminate excess copper from the body is impaired, leading to copper accumulation in the liver, basal ganglia, corneas, and kidneys. The disease can cause difficulties with movement and neurological problems, and often leads to further complications such as acute hepatitis and cirrhosis of the liver. Damn. Suzuna's concern seemed entirely genuine. For a brief moment, Takuya was almost happy about his rare and grave condition. But he couldn't say that, of course, and so he just nodded. Yeah. If you look, you can see that my eyes have turned kind of brown. Takuya pointed at one of his eyes to indicate the pale brown ring in his cornea. Abnormal buildup of copper can cause brownish rings to appear along the edge of the cornea. These are known as Kaiser-Fleischer rings. Yeah, I know about that. It's something you're born with, where copper builds up inside your body. I get really tired super easily, and when the doctors checked me out and said I had hepatitis caused by Wilson's disease. My liver was already seriously damaged, and the only thing that'll fix it is a transplant. That's why I'm in here. He really is not Daijobu, but finding a compatible donor has been hard. I guess we're in the same boat. You need a transplant too, isn't it? Yeah, I'm still waiting. I have what's called dilated cardiomyopathy. They've tried other forms of treatment like limiting food and water intake for long periods, putting in an implanted defibrillator, and other things. But it looks like a transplant is the only real solution. A dilated okay, a condition where a structural change in heart muscle cells causes the ventricle walls to become thin and distended. This decreases heart function, and as the condition progresses, it can lead to heart failure, arrhythmia, and other diseases. Victims of the disease have a high probability of sudden death at a young age. At present, a heart transplant is the only cure for the disease. Yeah, this is... Ooh, shit. Okay, defibrillator. What is it here? A device implanted within the body that delivers an electrical shock to a heart that has gone into cardiac arrest due to arrhythmia caused by ventricular fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I do not know how to say like 80% of these words. Ah, word hard. But when triggered, they can also cause intense pain in some patients due to the electrical energy involved. Damn. Dilated cardiomyopathy? Defibrillator? What are those? You say Mina's not a doctor? Nope. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything. I do not know anything. I'm not very smart. Takuya didn't understand all the vocabulary, but it sounded like her condition was even worse than his own. But the biggest problem, Suzuno continued, is that just aren't a lot of heart donors in Japan. And moreover, abruptly she felt silent. A look of loneliness crossed her face. Then she turned back to Takuya with a reassuring smile. You'll find a match soon, Takuya. Everything will be fine. You could find one too, Suzuno. Isn't that right? Takuya felt like something was caught in his throat. It was hard to get the words out. Today on 428, medical vocabulary lessons with your video game. I know, right? Like, at the very least, they could have added, like, I don't know, pronunciations or something to the hard words for the dumbasses in chat, aka me. That's me. It's me. I'm the dumbass. It's me. Yeah, if I'm really lucky. Suzuno hesitated before continuing. But even then, I doubt I'll be able to get the surgery. Her tone was so matter of fact. Why not? Sakuya asked. My family doesn't have much money, so we can't afford to get surgery overseas. But it's alright. I don't really like the idea of being saved by getting some poor brain-dead person's heart. I mean, that's what it comes down to, you know? Unless someone else dies, I can't be saved. If I had to think of some family out there grieving over their loss, I wouldn't be able to be happy even if it did mean I got better. No, Argo. I will not. I refuse. I refuse to make that joke. You hear me? You will not be making that joke in my Christian server. Like I had never thought about that. Just imagining part of some stranger's body getting put inside his own was more than scary enough. Still, if you had to choose between that and death, well, it wasn't even a contest. But if you don't get a transplant, then... Everybody dies. That's just how it is. For some of us, it just happens earlier than for others. You can't just give up like that, Sakuya cried. I won't survive unless I get someone's liver, but if I'm lucky enough to actually get one, I'd be happy about it. The doctor told me that people only give their organs to deaf because they want to. They want to save lives. Isn't it appeared flustered? I'm sorry. You know that's the way I should be thinking about it. I'm sure that things will go well for you, Takuya, and that they'll find a donor for you. And you shouldn't hesitate to get that surgery. By getting better, you'll be honoring the dead in a way. But... let out a sigh. That's not gonna happen for me. Why not? My blood type is really unique. I don't think a compatible donor is ever gonna turn up. A unique blood type? Like I stammered a little as he asked. You mean like Rh negative? Susanna shook her head. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Bombay. They say only a few dozen people have it in all of Japan. One of that handful of people would have to happen to go brain dead. Then they need to get that person here before their heart stopped. And then the surgery itself would need to go well enough. There's too many coincidences to hope for, you know? Sakuya was too surprised to say anything at all. Yeah. I'm not about to live what's left of my life expecting that I'll win the lottery like that, Susanna said. It's better to focus as best as I can on what I can do. On what you can do? What do you mean? There are a lot of patients here like you and me who've been here for a very long time. Most of them are senior citizens whose families rarely if ever come to see them, and I kinda enjoy listening to older people talk. They've all got plenty of interesting stories to tell. But more importantly, it brings smiles to their faces having someone who'll listen to them. They tell me that, for a little while, it's like they're young again, like their pain has gone away. I have to move my mic, you're being a little doodly, aren't you? Okay, sorry about that. There we go! And seeing them smile, it makes me happy too. I want to make friends with as many people as possible, to learn about as many people as I can. I don't have time to wallow in my own misfortune. Sakuya had assumed that, unlike himself, Susanna was as cheerful as she seemed to be because she had hoped that she'd get better. He'd been suffering through his own illness and had thought day in and day out about how unlucky he was to have been born with it. Though he hated to admit it, he had long since discarded any hope that they'd find a donor and give him a successful transplant. Until he met Susanna, he'd live every day cursing his fate. Their circumstances were so similar, so why were they so different? Susanna was like an angel. Sakuya felt like a miserable excuse for a human being. I have to spend a lot of time resting in bed, Susanna said. I read a lot, novels, essays. Sometimes I try reading more difficult books on philosophy. I don't always understand a lot of it, but sometimes it just clicks, you know? And I read high school textbooks sometimes too. Well, except for math, I've given up on that. Sakuya didn't like reading. When he was in his room, he just watched TV. A lot of the time, the only shows that were on were garbage, and he knew they were garbage when he was watching them. But there wasn't anything else that caught his interest. His motivations to study was non-existent, and he certainly didn't have any textbooks in his room. It wasn't like he was gonna go on to live a full life, get a normal job, have a normal family. So what point was there in studying? That's what he'd always thought, at least. Damn. Am I just wrong? I mean... You can learn just for learning stake, you know? Like, I once did a bunch of research on sunfish. Why? Not for any reason. I just wanted to know more about sunfish, you know? Halfway through her dinner, Susanna found that she'd lost her appetite. Her mood was bleak. Why did I get so high and mighty with Takuya like that? All I ever do is pretend to be the person I wish I was. In reality, all I do is worry about just when this heart of mine is gonna stop. I know it's normal to be afraid of dying. I practiced smiling for my father and my brother. I don't want them to see my fear. I was happy and a little bit shocked when I realized that my fake smiles actually worked. My smiles might have been forced, but the ones I got from those old men and old women and all the little kids, those were real. Oh, hey, Susanne. Hello, young lady. Everyone's always so happy to see me. At some point, Susanne had realized that she was no longer able to tell if her own smile was fake or not. She wasn't lying when she said that the smiles on other people's faces brought her joy. But every now and then, the loneliness returned. She wished she could tell someone how scared she was. Finally let herself shed the tears she'd held in for so long. But she'd never be able to do that to either her father or her brother. She didn't want them worrying about her any more than they already did. Her pulse grew erratic. Her intense heartbeat hammered like the hoofbeats of a horse at full gallop, a sensation she'd known since childhood. A type of abnormal heartbeat known as a gallop rhythm. Instead of the normal two-beat lumped-up rhythm of a healthy heart, it consists of 3 beats, resembling the sound of a galloping horse. An indication of potential heart failure. And she felt an intensely painful electrical shock course through her. Her implanted defibrillator had activated. After suffering through the pain for about 10 seconds, she felt her heartbeat stabilize. I'm alright. My heart is still pumping. But despite her relief, it was impossible not to think about her how time was growing ever closer. If you're in pain, just say so. It's okay to admit it. With a start, Susanna looked up and saw a nurse in her doorway. She hadn't even noticed the door opening. Was it time to have her temperature taken again? She hurriedly put on the mask of a smile. Oh no, I'm okay. It's all calmed down now. Your illness isn't the problem. Hiding it is. If you need a little comfort, just ask. Susanna was at a loss for words. It was dark outside, and with the lights of her room turned off, she couldn't get a good look at the nurse's face. The woman was tall and slender, and had a rather nice build. Was there a nurse like that on staff at Ninda's ward? I couldn't remember. What are you talking about? Susanna felt her smile warp as she struggled to conceal a sudden upwelling of sorrow. You're facing your condition like an adult, but from your father's perspective, you're still his little girl. It's completely natural for your family to worry about you. This person knows who I am. I'm not sure how, but she knows everything. Susanna let her mask fall. She looked down at her hands, balled tightly into fists, and she let the tears come. Aww. I want to be a strong person, but I can't do it. Everyone tells me what a strong and cheerful girl I am, but it's all a lie. The words spilled out as her emotions came rushing to the surface. I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid of getting surgery. I'm even afraid to go on living. What scares me more than anything is when night comes. I'm afraid every time I go to sleep that I might not wake up again. I thought that if I kept pretending I wasn't scared that eventually I'd be able to fool myself. But that didn't happen. I'm the only one I can't fool. I think you're plenty strong. Huh? Everyone's afraid of death. That's why they try their hardest to look away from it. But they try to forget during the day-to-day that it's coming. But you face it every day. Face it head on. You're a stronger girl than you think. Everyone else probably underestimates your strength. Gosh diddly dang, this goddamn game. What the fuck? That's mean. Oh, I'm angry now. Bruh. I'm not angry, I'm actually just really sad, but Jesus Christ. Why does it keep happening? How much more is this game gonna hurt me? before it's done. Jesus. The nurse's voice was smooth and soft. Her words flowed over Sissonette, washing away her darker emotions. I know. Ah, I'm so sad. That's why you shouldn't push yourself so hard. If you keep trying to face all your fears by yourself, then one day you might break. It's okay to let it out every now and then. Vent your frustrations. Fighting so hard every day, there's nothing wrong with asking for a little help. Aww. The nurse sat down on the bed and began to gently stroke Sissonett's hair. If you're ever afraid to go sleep, call for me anytime. I'm always here for you. I'll watch until you wake up in the morning. That should help, yes? I couldn't. Has to be that. That's what Sissonette meant to say. With the comforting warmth that enveloped her stopped the words, carrying her gently towards sleep. It was a feeling she'd nearly forgotten. Like something from very long ago. But from when exactly? Oh, I can't. This game is bullshit. Bullshit! When Sissonette woke the next morning, the nurse was gone, but she did not despair. If she ever needed her, the nurse would be there for her again. God. I'm destroyed. Of that she was sure. But I'll be okay. Good morning, Miss Endel. The nurse who came to take her temperature was the usual one, not the one who'd been there in the night. Good morning. A natural smile came to Sissonette's face. She felt deeply grateful that she had gotten to live to see another day. That's good to hear. Good, good, good. God damn it. The weather was nice, so after lunch, Sissonette headed out into the courtyard. More than anyone else, she hoped to run into Takuya. She'd understood his outlook on the world the moment she learned of his condition. Plus, it was kinda cute, seeing how hard she tried to hide the way he felt. The fondness she felt for him was like that for a younger brother. At some point, she realized what they had was that they had a special bond. There was a sense of solidarity, knowing that they were both waiting on a transplant for an otherwise incurable disease. She wanted to say that the things she'd told him the day before, that was just her searching for an ideal, something to live up to. She wasn't philosophical, she wasn't enlightened, she just wanted to be honest about how hard it was every day. Surely he would understand. But Sissonette didn't see Takuya in the courtyard that afternoon. She made small talk with several of the patients like she usually did, then headed back to her room. Takuya didn't turn up the next day either, nor the day after that. She would look up at his window from the courtyard, but she never saw him. Where was he? Had his condition taken a turn for the worse? Was he no longer well enough to go outside? Susan had never been to the second floor where his room was, but she knew the first floor well enough that she could guess the layout well enough to avoid getting lost. With that in mind, she decided to pay Takuya a visit. She went up to the second floor, walking slowly as she eyed the nameplates for the room along the courtyard side. There, right about where she expected it to be, she found it. Kazuma Takuya. She'd been afraid that his nameplate had been removed, if it hadn't been there. That would have meant he'd been discharged. That his room had been swapped for some reason, or else. As Sissonette was about to knock, a voice called out from behind her. Miss Endel? She turned around to see an unfamiliar nurse standing there. Perhaps she was in charge of the warder, had seen Sissonette walking around before, and that's how she knew her name. Yes? Sissonette. Were you looking for Takuya? Yeah. I hadn't seen him in a while, so I was wondering. I'm sorry. Takuya wants to get out more than he does, but honestly, he's not in any shape to be moving around much. We're worried about infection as well, so we've limited his visitors. You probably shouldn't be wandering this far yourself. The nurse pointedly pulled the sliding door to Takuya's room closed. If I could just see him real quick. No, the nurse snapped, then hurriedly cleared her throat and spoke more softly. You wouldn't want his condition to get worse, would you? Susanna saw that she'd have to back down. She returned obediently to her own ward. Damn! But she had a hard time accepting the fact that she couldn't visit Takuya. Does that nurse have some kind of grudge against me? Not only does she know my name and know about my condition, but she must also know I've been talking with Takuya in the courtyard. RJ, hello! I'm being destroyed by this game. Welcome. Did somebody order depression and terminal diseases? I know, right? Is she thinking the reason his condition has gotten worse? Susanna knew that his health wasn't as good as he might have claimed, and she felt a little guilty that she hadn't been as considerate as she perhaps should have. Oh, hurt, pain. After that, whenever Susanna went out for a walk, she made a point of swinging by Takuya's room, asking several nurses and doctors about his condition. They'd always say he was doing fine, but staunchly refused to let her see him. Is he maybe already? Susanna couldn't help but imagine the worst. Is everyone just working together to keep me in the dark? But why would they do that? Does he think of his girlfriend and they're trying to keep me from the shock of finding out or something? Because that was ridiculous. Besides, this was a hospital. Susanna knew full well that they didn't have the time to put on some weird peace theater after a patient had passed away. There must be some other reason. The reason they don't want us to see each other. Willing to do whatever she could to discover that reason, Susanna tried changing the time of day that she stopped by Takuya's room. Maybe if nobody was watching, she'd be able to sneak a peek inside. If someone happened to be coming or going, she might even be able to get a look at his face. But Susanna never imagined the way she'd finally wind up seeing him again. On that day, she'd been hiding behind one of the heated meal carts used for delivering dinner to the patients. She followed the orderlies as they brought the cart toward Takuya's room. They'd have to open his door in order to bring his tray inside. Before she reached his room, the door swung forcefully open, and a bed was swiftly pushed from inside. Doctors and nurses, their faces paled, ushered it along, pushing the meal cart out of the way as they raced down the corridor. Takuya lay on the bed, his eyes closed, his face severely jaundiced. He didn't appear to be conscious. Takuya! Susanna cried out without thinking. One of the nurses glanced back at her briefly before disappearing from sight with the others as they brought the bed into the elevator. Oh no! Takuya. As Susanna stood there dumbstruck, her eyes straight to the open door to his room. With shaky footsteps, she went inside. Takuya's room was largely the same as her own. There was a locker by the entrance, along with a small refrigerator. Over by the window was a TV stand. Next to that was a bookshelf packed with books. She picked one of the books atop the bedside table. It was a beginner's primer on topics such as organ transplantation and brain death. On the bookshelf were other, more difficult-looking medical volumes intended for experts. Takuya's been studying up on diseases? I wonder if he's been holed up in here reading all these the whole time. Maybe he'd overdone it studying. That would be a cruel irony. Susanna prayed to a god she'd never before believed in. Please, save him. God. Jesus Christ. Wow. Takuya really opened his eyes. This wasn't his room. An artificial respirator was fitted over his nose and mouth, and several tubes ran between his body and a hemofiltration machine. Vinyl curtains enclosed the area around his bed. I have no clue what this game is, but I'm just here to support. Thank you, RJ. Don't worry, this is like the extra content. Okay, a machine that regulates electrolytes and removes waste products from the blood in lieu of the kidneys, used to assist patients with decreased kidney function. Purifying the blood too quickly can, however, result in a collapse of the body's electrolyte balance, leading to headaches or muscle spasms. He was in an ICU. Intensive care unit! A clinical facility that allows for focused around-the-clock treatment and monitoring for patients with severe and life-threatening illnesses or injuries. Also used for patients whose conditions might potentially become critical, or for patients requiring an extreme degree of care following surgery. Several people bustled frantically about. The last thing Takuya remembered was being in his room. Was that minutes ago, or has it been days? Excuse me. Could someone... Takuya paused. His voice didn't even sound like his own. Doctor, he's regained consciousness, a nurse announced. At that, the face of his attending physician, Dr. Saiki, suddenly came into view. He was wearing an operating mask. Takuya? The doctor said, please hang in there. Takuya! It sounded like his father and mother were there on the other side of the curtain. If the staff had called them here, did that mean he was on the brink? What day is it? What's that? The respirator was making Takuya's voice hard to understand. He struggled to form the word. Today. What day is it? It's April 5th. April 5th. There's still over 3 weeks to go until his 15th birthday. What's going on? It's too late to save me, isn't it? You mustn't say things like that. How much longer do I have? Will I make it another month? What a nice, fun, uplifting game. I know. This is the game for the times. This is so fun. I'm having so much fun. I'm enjoying this so much. Yep. Having the best time of my life. Becky lowered his eyes. No guarantees then. Please, doctor. I just need 3 more weeks. Please do whatever you can to let me live for just 3 more weeks. I can't die yet. Just like he nodded, a thoughtful look on his face. Is there something you can do? Please. I don't want to die yet. I haven't done anything yet. Please, just a little more time. It's a life-prolonging procedure, highly experimental, however. I don't care about the risks. I just don't want to die yet. There's something called an artificial liver system. Clinical trials have only just been concluded in Japan. It's a device that uses cells harvested from pigs. If things go well, rather than just 3 weeks, it might be possible to keep you alive until a donor turns up. Okay, although a liver dialysis machine can be thought of as a sort of artificial liver, an actual liver carries out much more complicated metabolic reactions that dialysis cannot completely replace. For this reason, biohybrid liver replacements combining mechanical functions with active live liver cells from pigs are currently under research. Clinical tests have been conducted in the United States. The hope is that these bioartificial devices will someday be able to keep those with failed livers alive until the necessary transplants are available. The mention of pig cells was startling, but right now was no time to be squeamish. Please, doctor. If there's even the slightest chance, it's worth it. Man, I don't know if it's worth it, though. What if he did? Bro. After Takuya rushed to the ICU, Susanoo went to check up on him every day without regard for her own well-being. Day after day she visited, only to be told that he was still in an unconscious state. Man. I'm not... this game. 3 weeks went by without a change. Then, one morning, while passing by the kitchenette on her way to the ICU, Susanoo overheard some nurses talking. Did you hear? Takuya's regained consciousness. For better or for worse. Poor kid. He keeps saying that he doesn't want to die yet. He wants to live. He's only, 14? The young nurse's voice was tearful. Susanoo felt a new kind of pain in her chest. He's running out of time for his transplant. It was that rare blood type. Rare blood type? Susanoo stopped in her tracks, then rushed back to the kitchenette. Excuse me, what do you mean by rare blood type? The moment she saw Susanoo, the nurse climbed up and tried to slip away. Oh, that's so cool, RJ! I hope you will have fun. Please, hold on. That rare blood type. Is it Bombay? Susanoo shouted. The nurses exchanged an awkward look with one another. And though neither of them said anything, Susanoo knew that she was right. Oh no! Takuya's Bombay blood too. No! This was a hospital with high-end facilities that drew patients with incurable diseases from all over the country, so maybe it wasn't such a remarkable coincidence. Transfusions for rare blood types such as Bombay were difficult to come by at regional hospitals. For a rare blood type, it's extremely common! You're right! This is the third person in this goddamn game. There were some advantages to having another such patient on hand nearby, but there were downsides too. Now the inexplicable behavior of the doctors and nurses made sense. They'd been trying to keep Susanoo and Takuya from each discovering that the other had Bombay blood. It's unsettling enough to know that someone else with a blood type only possessed by a few dozen other people in all of Japan was hospitalized right alongside you, when both of you were waiting for compatible donors in the hope of receiving a transplant. That was enough to have set anyone's composure. How much Takuya felt when she told him that she had Bombay blood as well. If I die, she could live. Something like that must have crossed his mind. The fact that he'd started studying up about transplants again must mean that he'd been thinking of something. That's why he's saying he wants a few more weeks? Is that it? What in the world was he thinking? If our positions were reversed, what would I have done? Susanna knew that what she had to do. She headed for the ICU. She got there just as Dr. Saiki, who was her own attending physician as well, emerged from inside. Miss Endo. The doctor stopped, surprised. Susanna drew herself upright and looked him right in the eye. Doctor, please use my liver for a transplant for Takuya. You can perform a living liver transplant, right? If you need to take half or even 2/3 of it, then please by all means. For a moment, Dr. Saiki looked as if he'd taken a punch to the face, but soon his expression resolved into a sad smile. You heard about the blood? Susanna nodded. I'm afraid that won't be possible. A living liver transplant is dangerous enough for a healthy person. Someone in your condition would never be able to tolerate the surgery. You can do it when my time comes, then, Susanna said. Regardless, Miss Endo, I can't carry out a living liver transplant between complete strangers. The law doesn't allow it. If the two of you got married, that would be a different story, but that's not possible either. Neither you nor Takuya can legally marry until you're 18. Marry? Susanna had never thought about such a thing, but if marrying Takuya would make the surgery possible, she'd do whatever it took. But apparently the law wasn't going to allow for that either. Well, I don't care what the law says. If I'm the only person who can save Takuya, then please take my liver. Doctor, please. I'm afraid what you're asking simply can't be done. You need to focus on your own condition and getting better yourself. I'm beyond saving anyway, though, right? So please, I'm begging you. Takuya needs. Susanna grabbed hold of the doctor's gown, pleading. A sharp pain shot through her chest. The galloping heartbeat was back. No, her pulse had never been quite this erratic before. Her mouth opened and closed reflexively. She was unable to bleed. Please. The electrical shock went through her from the implanted defibrillator. The world faded as she slowly collapsed into the floor. God damn it! Bad end. What did I do? I didn't make any choices! It's not my fault! Susanna had a long, long dream. Her father was in that dream. And though Susanna couldn't clearly remember her face, her late mother was there too, trying desperately to save her. And then there was Takuya. Takuya was smiling. A genuine smile. A smile that Susanna had never seen. Takuya's mouth was moving, but no sound came out. She tried to read his lips. Thank you. This is the worst, I know! What the fuck? Thank you. Wait, what do you mean? I'm just waiting for the main character to wake up to a zombie-filled world and it turns into an FPS. When the Shibuya Scramble IDK. No, that's not quite what happened. What actually happened in this game was a deadly virus threatening to kill the entirety of Shibuya. So people wouldn't have been zombies, they would have just been dead. Susanna cried out as she woke. She was staring up at a familiar ceiling. She was back in her own room. She spotted her older brother Achi sleeping on a folding chair. There's a jump? What? Not yet, I guess. Illegal! Illegal jump! Illegal jump! Achi. The word creaked raspily from her throat. Huh? Susanna, you awake? He's wearing different clothes now. We know this is a different day because he's wearing different clothes. Her brother rose from the chair, then excitedly scampered out of the room. What a himbo, look at him. I know, forbidden hop. Forbidden jump, I know. With a start, Susanna realized something was attached to her chest. She felt a peculiar sensation. 6 distinct tingles all running from the center to the left side of her chest. Electrocardiograph. Electrode. She followed the leads that ran from her chest to the monitor by her pillow, and was surprised to see the waveform moving across it. It was her pulse. Amazingly, the rhythm was solid and strong, nothing like the one she'd been familiar with for so long. It's not my fault. Suzuna realized what she was seeing. She understood instinctively. This heart, it was Takuya's. I kind of had a feeling that would happen. I kind of had a feeling this would happen. Achi returned with Dr. Saiki, who proceeded to check the various monitoring devices by the bed, nodding and smiling with satisfaction. It's good to see you awake again. For now, there don't appear to be any signs of rejection. Of course, we'll need to be vigilant, but this new heart seems to be a good match for you, Miss Endo. It's Takuya's, isn't it? Please tell me it's not. Oh yeah, I wanted him to have my liver. Takuya was dead. If she had his heart now, there was no way he was still alive. But it's like he looked away, and for a while he said nothing. When it comes to who your donor is, I'm not at liberty to say anything. You understand that, right? So instead, let me tell you how things went for Takuya in the end. You two were friends. Boyfriend and girlfriend, maybe? By the way, you have a right to know about his passing. Takuya's passing. Fucking Christ, dude! This is illegal. This is absolutely illegal. I'm suing. This can't. No. Fuck you. Susan had already imagined as much, but now she couldn't hold back the tears. Takuya's dead. He's dead. Dr. Saiki went on. Takuya begged me to help keep him alive just a little bit longer. His family agreed, and so we proceeded with an artificial liver system. A treatment that's relatively untested here in Japan. For a while, his symptoms abated, and he even regained consciousness. The doctor took a breath, but it was already too late. He lapsed into a coma due to acute liver failure, and had developed complications. A condition known as DIC, which causes clotting in blood vessels throughout the body. Initially, we thought that he might have hepatic encephalopathy, but the CT scan of the head revealed cerebral edema. He was declared brain dead 2 days after his birthday. Oh, ow. Oh, that hurts. He was 15 years old. The Dosaki gave her a significant look. Isn't it wonder what that implied? He was insistent that he made it to 15, Saiki continued. He says there was something he absolutely needed to... Wait, is 15 the age you can sign up as an organ donor? Oh no! Oh shit, that's it, right? Oh god. That's the legal age. I'm so... On his birthday, he called for his family and told them, I want to register as an organ donor. Fuck! Huh? Here in Japan, individuals under 15 years of age aren't allowed to give consent for organ donation. If Takuya had died before he turned 15, then his heart, all of his organ, rather, could not have been provided to a patient in need. And that was something he wished for very much. Oh my god. That was what I kind of figured when we saw the books in his room. That's like he's planning to make sure. Takuya had been reading up and studying, and he learned that he needed to survive until he turned 15. And he asked for life-prolonging measures to be taken. Also that he could register as a donor in order to give me his heart. Fuck! That's illegal. I hate this. And I don't know who it was, but apparently a surgeon was able to perform a transplant for a patient believed to be an ideal match for his heart. Evidently, this patient was also comatose and in an extremely dire state. But from what I hear, the surgery seems to have gone quite well. Of course, I do not know the identity of the patient either. I'm very kind. This doctor is very kind for telling us this, as sad as it is. Susan strained to move her right hand, sitting at the top of the chest. Underneath the layers of the bandages, she could feel a heartbeat, steady and strong. I swear to God. Takuya's heart is beating within me. I would not be... What? No, I would not be able to live with this. Fucking Christ. He left a letter for you. I haven't looked what's inside, so I'm not sure what it says. It was like he set a white envelope down on the bedside table and left the room. Fucking Christ, dude. No. Nope. Achi, read it to me. She didn't feel strong enough to read it herself, but she didn't want to wait. Are you sure? Achi asked. Alright then. Let's see. As she opened the envelope, she lit the letter out and began to read, and he's like, I can't read kanji. I'm sorry. I'm trying to have fun. Because I'm dying. I'm genuinely dying right now. This cannot be. Oh my god, this game is illegal. I swear to God. Isn't it? If you're reading this letter, that means everything has gone well. Congratulations. And also, thank you. And that's what he said in her dream. She must have kind of been. Yeah, she must have kind of. Ever since I became sick, no, even before then, I hadn't known what it was like to be happy. I hated the world. I went through my whole life just thinking about how pointless my existence was. An excuse for a human being with no reason to live. What did it matter if I was here or not? It auto-scrolls, I have to read it. I hated that I was gonna die so young, but at the same time, it seemed pointless to try to live any longer. And then I met you. It auto-scrolls! Gotta read fast! Gotta read sad and fast! I fell in love with you. Oh, that's so sweet. No! Stop crying, Argo! I love you, Susanna, with all of my heart. With you in this world, I wanted to go on living a little longer. Because living would actually have some meaning. No! I'm not crying, you know, you're crying, fuck you! When I found out that we had the same blood, I was shocked. It had to be fate. Wow, he was right? He was thinking about it this entire time. Neither of us were gonna be able to survive on our own. But if one of us sacrificed herself for the other one could go on living, and I wouldn't be able to bear any world without you in it. No! The answer was clear. Aw. What a good boy. I want you to have my heart, isn't it? It's the best possible thing for the both of us. Wiper, more like the crying bookmark. You're probably a little sad knowing that I'm gone now. I'll be happy if that's the case, but may you please be happy for me now that my heart is inside you. That would make me even happier. Happier than anything. He's such a good little boy! Thank you so much for taking my heart. It'll beat for you as hard as it can. I hope. He's such a good little boy. I wish we could have talked more. If it had only been possible, I would have liked to have gone somewhere with you. But it's okay. This way I get to be with you forever. I won't be lonely anymore. You will not be a lonely boy anymore. I swear to God. Why are they doing this to me? Goodbye. I'm looking forward to our future together. Takuya Kasama. He was such a cool boy until the very end. I'm so proud of him. I knew him for like 20 minutes. What the fuck? I was like, you know a character for like an hour and I'm already like this. What the fuck? Even Archie's crying. Even the himbo is crying. Even the himbo is crying, everybody. Archie's voice grew gradually more hoarse as he read. By the end, he was struggling not to weep. Damn it. Did it really have to be like this? I know, right? Is this really how it was supposed to be? Susanna was more astounded than she was sad. Of course she was upset that Takuya had died. And she was glad that she was gonna live. But above all, she was amazed by the fact that Takuya had cared for her as much as he had. That he'd fought so hard to prolong his own life just to save hers. That moved her more deeply than anything she'd ever known. Maybe a young crush couldn't be called real love. But that didn't make it any less pure. Jesus Christ, I need to rehydrate. I'm dying. Passing away. Thank you. He's a good boy. I'm so proud of him. Goodbye, and I'm looking forward to a future together. It's okay, he's with you now. What the fuck? Okay, but how do I... Now we're gonna... Okay, sorry, I'm... I'm recuperating. No, I am mad, shut up! Stop with the music! What a oh my god. This game, what the fuck? Is this what I have to be subject to? For like, how long is this gonna keep going? I can't. You, Takemaru Abiko, you! Yeah. And you, Mr. Kaneko, you! All of you guys! I swear to God! All of you! God. Okay. Okay. Ah! For Christ's sake. That was a lot. Unlike the first fucking hour. What the hell? This game just really said let's give the hardest one as like the first. I just need to figure out how to jump to Achi, I guess. You know? Okay. Yes, I hit myself in the face. Leave me alone. There we go. My face has now been thoroughly punched. They were like, how can we make a new scenario that makes everything like bad? Man. Takuya really was an MVP until the very fucking end. Jesus Christ. I love him so much. He's the greatest. The goodest of boyos. Okay, what am I actually supposed to do now? I'm so winded. What the hell? Wait, what were we doing? I forgot. I'm fuck you, Spike. Fuck you, Tunesoft. All of you guys. Screw you. Heartbeat of spring. Fuck you! I don't want that achievement. Leave me alone. Okay, wait. What in the absolute fuck am I supposed to do now? What was the bonus done? Okay, this is the pop quiz. Oh, you can rewatch the preview. Well, that's fun. Fun. But okay, I understand. I'm not supposed to take the pop quiz yet. Okay. The question is, what the hell am I supposed to do now? I hated that. I hated that. That's disgusting. Wait. Okay. Okay. Let us tab. Okay, I will go do it. No, it's totally okay. I got it. I got a 6. I just needed to brain a little bit. And then we just need to go F2. I wish I could go from the bottom, but I can't. So I'll just have to click through the old way. It's fine. Let's just start from somewhere. Okay, actually first. I'll just take it slowly and then we'll. Thank you. Okay, Achi 19. Option C. Okay. That is, I have to set aside my hatred. Right now I need to just focus on catching this dude. Okay. And then Kano. Kano. 19. Oh, is it this one? Second choice. Option A. I've already picked that. If it's this one. I just want to know the password. Yeah, no, it's the forgiveness decision. I get it. And I remember picking this one. And then what is Tateno 1910? It's gonna be this one. Don't want to pull this trigger if I don't have to. I said that you don't want to pull that trigger. I said you can't pull that trigger. Yeah, I remember this. Then there was Tateno, and then Jack. We go to 1920, and I pick option C. I already did that. I think. I'm just rechecking. If I do get my ribbon. Oh, okay. I'll go. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I will. It's okay. I'll do it with Tatsuno. Just kaboom. I will go do that. I promise. I don't want to pull this trigger if I don't have to. That you don't want to pull that trigger? Just that you can. And I took another step closer. You're still traumatized from that time you let your friend's wife die. Oh. How do you know about that? Tatsuno was shaking now, his name wavering. I was just talking about it with the young detective up on that rooftop. What happened there? Let's test my theory out. If you think I'm Alfred, then shoot me right here. Huh? You can't do it, can you? You're afraid to pull the trigger. You can hardly even stand the thought of pointing your gun at someone. Creepy. I wonder if this was. Yeah, okay. Well, I did it. I guess I'll just take it from here. Let's just start. And we will see if there's anything new. Feel a hand firmly clutching her own as she hastily returned to punching. Dun dun dun! Hand. Whose is it? My father's? Oh, I remember this. So sweet. He finally learned how to dad again. Maria's eyelids slowly drifted over. Maria, you're alright now. Her father was indeed beside her, holding her hand. A surprising warmth radiated from his slender, bony palm. Dad? He was lying on a sofa. She craned her neck to look around, still trying to process what was going on. There were several monitors set up around the room. Where are we? At my laboratory. You were infected with a virus, but I've given you the antiviral. You don't have anything to worry about. Squeezed Maria's hand even more tightly. That hurts. Oh, right, sorry. So I stopped the pressure on his daughter's hand. Aww. Duh. But he didn't let go entirely. It feels so strange, Maria muttered, staring up at the ceiling. I wonder why. What does? Having you hold my hand. I used to hold your hand like this when we'd go on walks together when you were little. I don't remember that, though. Maria considered. It was true, she didn't have any clear memory of her father holding her hand like this. And yet the touch of her father's palm felt distantly familiar. Gently she squeezed back. It's been a while, hasn't it? He said. I mean, me looking you in the eye while I'm talking to you. It's only because I didn't look you in the eye. Someone hung his head. I'm so sorry, he said. Please forgive me. I never meant to hurt you like I did. Wait, hold on. Maria was taken aback. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean hurt me? Like on that rainy day. Phil told Maria about the day she'd run away from home, about how he'd known where she'd gone, but hadn't gone to find her, about how he'd given in to his anger and struck her when she came back home. When he'd finished, he hung his head once more. I'm so sorry. I've been such a terrible father. Shut up, Argo. I can't with you right now. Maria cracked an impish smile. Oh yeah, I guess that did happen. Sora frowned. You know, she said, I'd totally forgotten about that. Until you mentioned it just now, I mean. Oh, I can't believe that, Sora replied. The way I heard you, I sounded so disappointed in himself. Hello, IJ. Dad, it's not like I can let myself dwell on each and every detail of my childhood. I mean, the 19 or so years I've been alive, I've been hurt in lots of different ways. The child experienced so much more than what her parents knew. That's what growing up was all about. It's a happy thing, but also a little bit sad. Estelle was visibly grappling with this feeling. I see, he said. I guess you have gone through much pain. Well, yeah, but there've been more things that were fun and happy. I see. It's the sum of all those things that have made me who I am today. So please don't worry so much about the past. I see. Dad, you keep saying I see. Stop it. Sorry. It's just... This is also difficult to say. Parenting. Estelle was trying and failing to hold back his tears. Maria wasn't quite sure what those tears were for, but she felt a prickle of embarrassment. Shyly, she looked away and her eyes alighted on one of the monitors. The screen showed a view from outside of the lab. Who are those people? She asked, pointing. Estelle looked and his eyes widened in shock. 3 people with guns were facing off with one another. Maria recognized one of them. Tatsuno, the man with the cane. Why are those 2 pointing guns at your friend? Estelle's voice was shaking. My friend? What do you mean? When you went to the Middle East. You know, Kanan. Estelle switched to the monitor to show a different camera angle. A close-up of the young woman's face appeared on screen. Maria was at a loss for words. That certainly wasn't Kanan. It was the girl who'd come to tell Maria that Hitomi was going to be kidnapped. Kanan's friend. Uh-oh. It had happened 3 days earlier. While Maria was on her way home from campus, a girl approached her, telling her she was a friend of Kanan. Kanan asked me to pass along a message, she said. Then she showed Maria a video recording. The video quality was quite poor, and the voice indistinct. There's a terrorist who's after the antiviral agent your father is developing. Maria listened to shocked as the message continued. The terrorist plan was already in motion, and Hitomi had been infected with the killer virus. Your father used the antiviral to save Hitomi, but the terrorists planned on that. I'll spare you the details, but there's a way to extract the antiviral from Hitomi's blood. Stealing the drug from the laboratory directly is too problematic. The terrorist intends to get it directly from your sister. Hitomi is certain to be kidnapped sometime in the next few days. And so I have something to ask you. I'd like you to get kidnapped in her place. Since you're twins, it should be possible for you to trade places without kidnappers realizing it. I gave the girl who's passing along this message a necklace outfitted with a small GPS beacon. Make sure you wear the necklace. Put it on, and it'll allow me to keep tabs on your location. I promise I'll come and rescue you. Please, help me. It's the only way we can keep the antiviral and Hitomi safe. The video ended and the girl handed Maria a necklace with an ornate pendant and showed her the hidden switch on the back. Kanan's coming to Japan? Maria asked. She's already here. She's ready to risk her life for this mission. Risk her life? Maria started uneasily. So this terrorist who's after the antiviral drug, is it Alfred? The girl looked shocked. You know about Alfred? Kanan told me that taking down Alfred is her purpose in life, but Alfred has ties to the CIA, so it's hard for Kanan to get any good leads. Ah, yes. That's true. That's true, which reminds me you should have this. The girl held out a photograph. This man is dangerous. Stay away from him. He's an ally of Alfred. Maria did her best to burn the man's image into her mind. All right, the girl said. I've passed along everything Kanan wanted me to tell you. What did you do next is up to you. Dun dun dun! So wait, what the heck has been going on while I've been asleep? Son recoiled from the ferocity on his daughter's face. The Kana girl thought of a way to save you. He went on to explain the plan to get the antiviral out of the lockdown laboratory. Once again, Maria stared at the monitor. As she eyed Kanan's friend, another memory from before she blacked out drifted to the surface. Suddenly it dawned on Maria what this girl was planning. She pretended to be Kanan in order to get into the lab, she said, scowling at the image on the monitor. Sal looked at the screen and then at his daughter's face. And then who in the world is she? Maria already had the answer. There's no doubt about it. That girl was Alfred. Yep. The instant she realized this, she knew they were in danger. If Alfred managed to infiltrate the lab, there was no way she'd be satisfied with simply getting her hands on the antiviral. She sowed ruin everywhere she went. Is something wrong? So I asked uneasily. Maria, what is it? Maria's mind was racing. She spoke her thoughts out loud. She's gonna kill you so the drug can be recreated. No, that's not far enough. She's gonna destroy this whole facility. We need Kanan to cannot, I know, right? Can you not? Kanan. How? Vague possibilities tumbled through her mind, but she couldn't be sure what the terrorists might be planning. She gritted her teeth in frustration. Don't worry, so said. I don't know who the girl is, but right now she's outside the lab. There's no way she can kill me or plant a bomb when in here or anything. Yeah, I know. Maria gave a tiny nod, but something gnawed at the back of her mind. Make sure you wear the necklace. Hurriedly, Maria took hold of the pendant that hung around her neck. As soon as she did, she felt a chill run up her spine. She went back over the details of Alfred's plan as her father had explained it. And then finally she understood. I've got it. So I straightened up. You've got what? I need to get out there where those three are. It would be absurd. I have to go. So peered closely at his daughter's face. Words weren't gonna stop her, and as he realized that, his own face stiffened with determination. Alright, but I'm going with you. I can't let you rush into danger all by yourself. Thank you, Dad. More like Dad. Sorry. Maria tried to get up from the sofa, but she was struck by a wave of vertigo and her knees buckled. Are you alright? So caught her by the arm. This is probably the side effect of the antiviral. You shouldn't push yourself too much. Maria looked up at her father's anxious face and shook her head. Don't worry, I'll be okay. We're going! Her body was weak with lethargy, her mind trapped in a disorienting haze. Every step was a monumental effort, but she clenched her jaw and forced herself onward, making her way down the laboratory hallway. A whirlwind of anger and sadness spurred her onward. Alfred was masquerading as Kanan. The cruel truth was all too clear. The terrorists would never have been able to get away with the deception if Kanan were still alive. Which means that Kanan must be... Maria fought to hold back her tears. It was too early to cry just yet. They could wait until after she'd put a stop to Alfred's plan. Dun dun dun! Using her rage to suppress her sorrow, she shoved open the door in front of her. I have the bomb! That isn't Kanan. Maria's voice exploded into the silence of the standoff. And then we're getting better testimony than that. Stanley! Our boy Stanley, I missed you! His gun's still at the ready. There's no talking your way out of things this time. Someone set her up. The bomb. Yeah! The expression on Alfred's face didn't change. She's still a mannequin without a soul. What did you do to Kanan? Maria demanded, marching unsteadily toward the terrace. Maria, stay back! So I exclaimed. She ignored him. Hey, don't get any closer, Sentinel barked. He looked exhausted on the verge of collapse. Answer me! Maria cried, still advancing. What happened to Kanan? But still Alfred said nothing. Stanley, too, began edging toward her. It doesn't matter what you ask, he said. He won't tell you anything. Bit by bit, he inched closer. He was going to try to take her down. Let me turn your question around, Alfred said abruptly. What do you think? Maria paused, confused. What do you think about what? What do you think happened to Kanan? The corners of her lips twisted up, shaping a mirthless smile. You killed her, didn't you? Maria's words came out as a whisper. What was that? I couldn't quite hear you. You killed Kanan, didn't you? This time Maria cried out with a biting fury. Alfred snickered. He's provoking me, Maria thought, forcing herself to swallow her rage. She couldn't let herself get caught up in Alfred's game, or her anger would spill out of control. Why are you laughing? By force of will, Maria made her voice firm and steady. Because I'm guessing you weren't expecting me to show up here. Alfred raised an eyebrow ever so slightly. Because I'm guessing you weren't expecting me to show up here. Alfred raised an eyebrow ever so slightly. This thing here, it's a bomb, isn't it? Maria held out the necklace. What? Stanley furrowed his brow. Of course. Even if we manage to catch you here, you'll still be able to destroy the lab. Still, the smile remained on Alfred's face. She seemed to enjoy watching the others figure out her intention. But you can't trigger the bomb with me standing this close to you, can you? Maria locked eyes with Alfred. Unless you're prepared to sacrifice yourself. She stood like an image of bravery, while on the inside her apprehension threatened to tear her apart. She could feel her heart thudding so furiously that she thought it might explode. Cold sweat trickled down her spine. Only her rage at Kanan's murder kept her from backing down. Go ahead and blow yourself up if that's what you want, she said. But you'll die with nothing. Your death will mean nothing, but not mine. My death will avenge Kanan's. Silence fell outside the laboratory gate. Stanley and Satono stood frozen, their guns still trained on Alfred. Both men were ready to pull the trigger at the slightest provocation. Just how long had they been there, staring each other down? If your loved one smiles to you like Alfred, file for a restraining order, I know, right? Jesus Christ! She really pulls it off well, though. Wow. Like, A+. Sawa swallowed audibly. Finally, Alfred tossed her gun onto the pavement and held up both hands in surrender. Stanley wasted no time springing forward to secure her. He gave her a thorough pat-down from behind. He removed a small device that looked like a detonator from one of her pockets. On your knees. Alfred did as she was told. Good. Now hands behind your head. Do anything funny and I will shoot. Without a word, Alfred placed her hands on the back of her head, fingers laced together. What are you playing at? Stanley growled disdainfully. Finally realized that you can only push your luck so far. She responded with a faint snicker. It's not my policy to resist when things are hopeless. Her toe was detached, her intentions unreadable. Good. I'll make this easy. Stanley kept the barrel of his gun pointed out at Alfred's head. This is for my brother. The words hung in his throat, unspoken. A surge of emotion coursed through him. Just a tiny bit more pressure from his index finger and he could put a bullet right through Alfred's head. His long journey would finally reach its conclusion. But although he had wished for this moment more than anything, his finger did not move. If he pulled the trigger now, would that truly be the end? His mind reeled at the implication. Sasuno watched Stanley closely, eventually letting out a tiny sigh of relief. They were in this together, after all. Now they just needed to be careful not to let down their guard. He kept one eye on Alfred as he went up to pick up the gun she discarded, but he was too late. The gun was gone. This is for Kanan. Maria had lunged forward, snatching up the gun. Maria, no! Sawa cried. What are you thinking? She ignored her father, taking aim at Alfred's forehead. Kanan's dead, and you're gonna pay. The smoldering rage she'd fought to hold back blazed up with renewed fury. Maria, Stanley said calmly, put down the gun. He had nothing but words to stop her. There was no telling what Alfred might do if he took his gun off her. What will this accomplish? He asked, keeping his tone as level as possible. Maria's face remained awash with anger. Maria, father, please don't do this. Sasuno took a step forward. Go on, hand me the gun, he said. Stay back! Maria's arm trembled as she aimed the gun. Everyone stood frozen, not even daring to breathe. The slightest wrong move might bring disaster. Silence roared. I don't care, Alfred sneered. If you want to shoot, then shoot. You do want to avenge Kanan, don't you? Yes, I do. Maria tightened her grip on the gun. Memories of her friend drifted through her mind. To Maria, born into peace, meeting Kanan had been like touching a world beyond her own. A far more complicated world. Kanan had blood on her hands from the time she was a little girl. A walking contradiction of cruelty and childishness. And yet, she'd lived her life according to her own unshakable beliefs. Meeting her had made Maria think hard about her own identity. What did it mean to be Japanese? Oh, that wasn't the question. What did it mean to be Maria Osawa? That was the crux of it all. They've been able to find common ground despite differing ideals, because both possessed an unshakable sense of self. Maria made her decision. Wait! Wait! I didn't get it. I didn't get a choice here! I'm gonna spare her. Because I remember what happens. Like, Maria shot and then, like, she missed, right? And then everything fucked up. Well, I'm not gonna shoot her. I won't do it. I want Dad to live, so I'm not gonna shoot. That's my decision. I can't shoot her. I'm not like Kanan. Maria's anger dissipated like smoke in a sudden wind. The tension seeped from her body and she carefully lowered the gun. What's the matter? Alfred smirked. Why won't you shoot? Her eyes blazed with contempt for Maria's naivete. No. I'm not being naive, Maria told herself. You want to others as they have done to you. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. What does this recurring pattern of retribution really accomplish? That everyone goes blind. Let's be real. Like, you can like joke about like catharsis and like fictional stories and stuff, but at the crux of things, this kind of like eye for an eye mentality does not do anything for anyone ever. It just makes people angrier and angrier and angrier, and then all of a sudden you've been like at war for 200 years and you don't even know what caused the conflict in the first place. Thank you for the hydration. I'm sorry, my voice is so like crunky today. Thank you for the stretch.
I appreciate it. Alfred needs to die though. Well, it's fine. I'll see what I'm doing.
We can kill her later. It's just an endless cycle of hatred. That's why I'm not gonna fight. Because I'm not like Kanan. Just fluttered from her eyes. I'm not like Kanan. The people who are different can still be friends. I'm gonna honor our friendship by not taking revenge. No matter what happens, I'm not gonna hurt anyone, Maria said. Maybe that's not very realistic, but this is my fight, and I'll fight the way I choose. She wiped away her tears. For the first time, Maria felt that she understood Kanan. If she'd been able to see her just one more time, she would have been able to speak her mind without fear. I could show Kanan the true me. And maybe then we would be friends for real. But that wasn't gonna happen. Not anymore. Maria handed the gun to Tatsuno, then looked up at the nighttime sky. In the distance, she could faintly hear the sound of police sirens. Not one star could be seen in the sky over Shibuya. What's actually gonna happen now? I don't even know anymore. Okay, a black car foreign make arrived at the laboratory and pulled up to the curb. Stanley Superior Gordon emerged from the bag. A few of his men followed and promptly placed Alfred in handcuffs. Cause like, I mean, I guess I'll try, but yeah, cause like, I just didn't want Osawa to die again. Well done, Gordon said. Stanley gave him a slight nod. I'll be taking Alfred back to headquarters. You can finish up here. Understood, sir. Gordon shoved Alfred into the back seat and slid in alongside her, and the car drove off. Who was that just now? Said North Stanley. My boss. Sorry, but we'll be taking Alfred into custody. You will, huh? Tatsuno frowned, but decided not to press the point. They put a stop to Alfred's plan, and they'd have saved Maria's life. That was enough for him. Maybe he'd even begun to atone for what he'd done to Hitomi. Kano, Suzune, Kotone. Tatsuno pictured all of their faces. Perhaps in the end he'd managed to become worthy of their respect. Yeah. It's all over. Stanley spoke under his breath. His gaze locked on the car taking Alfred away. The black cloud that hung over his heart had yet to lift. But he knew that today was the day he could finally put revenge aside. No longer would memories of his brother bring only sorrow. This'll do. Won't it, Frank? Abruptly, Maria's cell phone rang in Stanley's pocket. That's right. I meant to give this back to you. He handed the phone to Maria. I wonder who's calling, Maria picked up. She could hardly believe it when she heard the voice on the line. Brusque yet girlish with a daredevil ring. The voice that had been burned into her mind since the day she met its owner. No, it can't be. She'd been sure she'd never hear that voice again. It's Kanan! That was my phone? I have a way more cringy ringtone than that. In an instant, Maria's face was stained with tears of joy. Thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Kanan is alive! Yes! Maria couldn't hold back her sobs. It just kept coming and coming. She'd never wept with joy like this in her life. You have Ichiban's ringtone. I forget what his ringtone is. But... Wow! I'm so glad. I was hoping that would be the twist. I don't really care that I don't... Oh, midnight. Right. Actually held his breath. He could no longer feel the seconds ticking by. The number on the display were changing more and more slowly, but still he waited, watched in fear. 002. It was impossible not to fixate on the countdown. 002, 002, 002. Kanawanachi continued to stare at the timer. 002. It had stopped. The timer had actually stopped! We did it! Achi dropped his knee with a cry of triumph. The rest of the Shibuya Scramble burst into cheers. Woohoo! You're one reckless guy, you know that? Kano held his hand out. Achi grinned up at him. That makes two of us. The two clasped hands firmly, their handshake conveying more than any words could have. Achi! Achi! Suzume came rushing over. You did it, man! I knew you'd do it. Oh, it weren't just me, I think. Could never have done it without you guys' help. Suzume smiled bashfully. Hey, Suzume, take care of SOS for me. You got it. Suzume looked at him squarely in the eye. Achi gave a little nod and the two solemnly bumped fist again. Tokami, look here, I'm still here. He's still here. He's my favorite. I'm sorry. Like, he's my favorite character in the way that he's just so fucking out of place. Like, he just had a really annoying day while everyone has, like, had the most epic time of their lives. He's just like, why the fuck am I here? I just went around to see Chiaki standing there, beaming happily, her digital camera ready for another shot. Hey everyone, gather up! Minorikawa called Asukachi and his pals. You guys are the heroes of Shibuya! Photo time, everyone! Chiaki said, get ready! The young men struck a pose together. Wait, her too! Minorikawa ushered Hitomi over to stand with Achi. Hitomi. Achi flashed her a sheepish grin. It was all thanks to Hitomi that he'd been able to do what he'd done. Keeping Shibuya safe, keeping his promise to Suzume. Hitomi had been his inspiration for it all. There were so many things he wanted to say, but he couldn't get the right words out. Achi, Hitomi's cheeks were damp with tears. Hey now, young lady, Minorikawa called. No crying now! Come on, show us a smile. Ah, I love this ending so much. He struck a goofy pose there beside Chiaki. At last the smile returned to Hitomi's face. Really is the best. Hitomi looked up at Achi in confusion. Your smile, he said. It's the best. I don't care what anyone else says. He spoke so earnestly that Hitomi couldn't help but smile even more. Okay, here we go. He's still there! Here we go, people! Get your best faces on! I mean, Minorikawa's signal, everyone let out a joyous victory cry. This is such a good picture! I love this picture! Oh, Byakuya was a clock. I don't know, I like him. Come on, guys, Suzume shouted. Let's lift that jump where everyone can see him. Members of the voice let out another roar. Uh-huh. No, you're not going to do that, guys. Hey, cut it out! But she had already been swallowed by the enthusiastic throng. Woo! Isn't his leg injured? Byakuya. He's hilarious. I actually forgot his name. That's why I'm calling him Byakuya. He's like from the editorial department or whatever. And he's like, you better give me your manuscript. And then he just started like hanging out with Minorikawa. And now he's just like there. There in the middle of the scramble, Archie was being hailed as a hero. Kano looked on with a satisfied smile. What they had achieved together was nothing less than a miracle. It had taken a lot of luck and more than a few coincidences for them to stop the bomb. Coincidences? Kano muttered to himself. No, that wasn't right. This is something different altogether. Fate, that's what it was. And he ditched the clock by the end because he wanted to read. Yes! He was just like, you son of a bitch, I'm in, you know? I like that. I don't know. His character art was hilarious. He's not like Byakuya. Like, okay, this character has nothing to do with Byakuya aside from, like, his looks. Because he's just like some weird stuck-up dude who's a stickler for time. I have a kind of hate-love relationship with the actual Byakuya, though. He's kind of like, I don't know. You know, he's just like hilariously evil. Yeah. I mean, going from the first game, I just find him, like, just in the first game alone, I just find him hilariously evil. That's what I can say that I like about him. Is that he's just like that's like what I enjoy in his character. Like, if you asked me, do I want to go for a cup of tea with Byakuya Tsukami, I would be like, fuck no. I would not spend 5 minutes alone in a room with that man. Hell no. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, in the way that you could kind of, like, goof off at his absolute incompetence and annoying character traits, I really like it. I really like that aspect. Like, you could just goof off on him, you know? You can just be like, oh, you, Togami, you silly noodle. Yeah, exactly. And then you just pat him on the head and go, oh, you little baby. You little stupid bitch, you know? No, just one person's fate. The destinies of several people had collided, gathering momentum until coincidence became inevitability and Shibuya was saved. The raucous crowd tossed Ashi high into the air again and again. As a plainclothes detective, Kano would probably never be showered with adulation quite like that. But also now I get what the black bookmark is. It's canon, right? I bet he'll flinch like a bitch if you fake a yeah, exactly! Like, he's just like hilarious. Like, exactly. He's a small barking dog. Like, that's how I see him, and that's why I find his character amusing. Because when you look at him from that perspective, it becomes hard to, like, have that angry hate feeling anymore, because it's just like, meh. You know? Like, he's a little bitch. You know how he reacted to seeing, like, a dead body in the first game? He was completely fucking, like, not even there, you know? At least from what I remember, he was a weak-ass bitch about it. Well, that's alright. A detective's duty was to ensure the safety of the people. He didn't just put his life on the line so that he could be a hero. Just seeing all the smiles, that was good enough for him. Kano only needed the approval of one person, that was Rumi. Rumi, I hope she managed to get out of Shibuya okay. Suddenly worried, Kano pulled out his cell phone. There was a whole bunch of things he wanted to tell her. He couldn't share the whole story, police rules wouldn't allow it, but he wanted to let her know as much as he could. That the kidnapping case had been resolved safely, for instance. That he'd learned about the tortured past of the detective he so admired. His partner was gonna pull through! That's Seiya! That he'd managed to finally talk to her father. That he put his life on the line to save Shibuya from danger. All of these good things. Rumi would listen quietly to the very end, and then Kano thought he knew just what she'd say. Short and sweet. In that gentle voice of hers. Good job. Otsukare-sama. I can see that. Dumi, hello? There's no response. They have a bad connection. Hello? Hello, Rumi, are you there? Can you hear me? Look, the case is closed now. If you're still somewhere close to Shibuya, I'd love to see you if I can. You want to see me? Huh? Don't you have a mountain of paperwork you should be doing first? First? Want to see me, huh? Don't you have a mountain of paperwork you should be doing first? Sorry, my voice was cracking there. The gruff voice of Shizuo's. Oh, well, you see, Father, I tell you not to call me that! Shizuo barked so loudly over the phone that Kano's ear rang. Right, no, of course, and yes, I'll do my job. I just wanted to check and make sure that Dumi was alright. Looks like I misjudged you. Maybe you are the kind of guy who'll blow off work to go meet with the girl. Dad, hey! Dad, hey! Kano heard Rumi's voice cry out with exasperation. Come on, let me have my phone! Alright, I need to add you to suggested stream assist so it loads automatic. Aw, thank you, Arte. Mwah! Love you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Let me have my phone! Another work is important, sir. Kano said hurriedly, but Numi's even more important to me. He felt his panic rising. After all that had happened, he didn't want Shizu to end up with a bad impression. Oh, be quiet. If you want to see Numi, you can do it once you finish your work. Well, but I'm not sure when that's gonna be. I waited on you today a lot longer than I wanted. So at this point, I don't care how long it takes you. We can wait all night if we have to. Shizu let out a peculiar sigh. And then you and I can talk again about you marrying my daughter. Huh? Before Kano could be sure he'd heard that right, Shizu hung up. Huh? What? He stared at the phone, his mind reeling, and then he was hit with a veritable explosion of joy. Yes! Woo! Hug! He gets his good ending! Ah! Kano leapt into the air and shouted with delight, his voice echoing through the Shibuya streets. Yeah! Woo! He did do that. He just did that. Once the crowd had put Archie back down on his feet, he rushed over to Hitomi. So, Hitomi. Yes? Hitomi, there's so much stuff I want to talk to you about. So many things I want to tell you. He gazed into her face. But, Susune, he didn't know how to continue. Hitomi smiled warmly, she understood. Go on, Achi. Go see your sister. There's nobody here in trouble that you need to rescue now. Thank you. I better get going then to see Susune. I can't believe that happened. Achi broke away from his circle of friends and headed out to Shibuya Scramble. Strangely enough, his leg didn't hurt so much now. Despite all that had happened, he felt invigorated as if he was just waking to a brand new day. Achi! Hitomi called after him. I'll see you again, won't I? Achi nodded vigorously. Of course! Just come to Shibuya, you'll find me. Did you see happy anime singing? Has Aya Kamiki ever done, and she probably has, right? A ton. He'd been born and raised in Shibuya, but after today, he loved the place more than ever. Like, you know, I don't know. It's like a, the song is from 2008. Like, is it, I'm assuming the song is from it. He told me your phone is ringing. I know, right? Pick up your goddamn phone, girl. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to talk a lot because YouTube really hates it, you know? When these songs play. So sorry, we're not gonna listen to it as much this time. I'm just gonna talk over. I mean, I could mute it, but at the same time, it's like, I feel bad for just like sitting here in silence for like 4 minutes. I mean, I guess I could like, I could skip it. I don't know. But yeah, that was, I'm starting to see what this is about. So the black bookmark, like just from looking at the silhouette and just going from like how the story progressed, I was thinking, it's probably canon, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think it might be canon. Who knows? Could also just be me overthinking things. So what's next for me? This game isn't done yet, RJ. I haven't even done the pop quiz. You think the game is over? First of all, there's long. It's very long. There's of course the main story. We finished that. Like I think this is the true ending. Yeah, I know, RJ. I play long games. We played Ace Attorney for 6 months. You're acting like we didn't play Ace Attorney for 6 months. Come on. Yeah, dude here thinks the game ends at the credits. Have you ever played a visual novel? You know that's not how it works. Yes, I did, RJ. But yeah, so basically this game apparently. I still have that clip of you with the chips. It's so funny. You should go watch it again. It's a good chip. You stupid. How am I a Kojima fan reacting to this like it's a new thing to me? I know. What the hell, RJ? But yeah, so basically this game has like the main story. I'm sorry, I get sidetracked so fucking easily. So this game has like the side stories, aside from the main story, and there should be like 20 side stories, I think. And then are also the extra like side, like there's it's so hard to explain. There are like 20 small side stories, and then there are like 2 big ones. And the big ones you get by getting all the endings. So like the first one you get at like 50. If you get 50 bad endings, or I can't remember if it's 50 endings in general or 50 bad endings. But if you get 50 endings, I think you unlock the white bookmark, which is the that guy with the best achi. That it's the story revolving. Well, it's a story revolving his younger sister Suzune, who is in the hospital and getting a heart transplant. That was what we played in the beginning of the stream, and it destroyed my life and made me cry quite a lot. And then there's a second one, the black bookmark, that I think you get. What is it called? Like, we had to get all the endings. Yeah, Argo, and Six over here in the chat have been helping me with the guard. Yeah, so yeah, they're helping me with that. But anyways, to get the second bookmark, which is the second big side story, you had to get all the endings. And I'm assuming that includes the real story, the real ending. I platinum the scaler. Gordon and Alfred sat in the back seat as the car sped along the highway. Here. Gordon tossed the handcuff key into the seat beside him. What happened on the scramble? Alfred asked, picking up the key and unlocking her cuffs. Leland Palmer was arrested by the Japanese police, and the bomb in the attaché case was diffused, apparently. Still, Palmer shouldn't pose a problem once you get him into CIA custody. I see. Much obliged. You got yourself back into a corner, though, didn't you? Gordon said. Yeah, I was only able to accomplish half of what I intended. Half? Alfred produced the vial from her pocket. It was still red liquid. That Tommy's blood? Gordon asked. Indeed. I managed to acquire the antivirus. But when? Gordon peered at her in bewilderment. When I blew up the minivan. In the dim light of the vehicle, Alfred's eyes shone daggily like those of a wounded animal. Extracting the blood from Hitomi while she was unconscious had been a simple matter. Saving the girl's life had been more than just a means of conferring her trust. Alfred had been looking for the right moment to carry out the extraction. Total secrecy was essential. If it became public knowledge that the drug existed, and some of it had been stolen, the value of the UA virus would plummet. Pretends to be shocked. When a shady single-person terrorist works with the US government, pretends to be shocked. I know, right? Her primary objective here was to destroy the research facility. Still, getting her hands on the antiviral is better than nothing. Well done as always, Alfred. Alpha Red. Yeah, it's very close. It's very close. Da, 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 da. Oh, shit. I don't think we've seen this before. Yeah, I don't think I've seen this clip before. Yeah, she really has it, like, even in her, even in these videos, her body language are on point. You're watching a movie! That was Kanan! I love this. Ah, da, da, da! I'm sorry, I'm just shocked to silence. Testing across Alfred on point. Yeah, for sure. Wow. Oh my god, I'm freaking it. They're in... I actually don't know where they are. Oh! Boy! What the? Okay, what? Oh no. black bookmark! Wait, what's gonna happen now? Spike Toonsoft? Yeah, this is, RJ, you have to understand that this is before Spike and Toonsoft, like, actually merged. Like, it's that old. It's from, like, 2008. This game old. This game is old, RJ. Get the black bookmark! Yeah, it's old. It's from, like, 2008, I think. Yeah, the game was originally by...
お前はまだ復讐を考えているな。
Bitch!
パスコードが変えられている。
解放戦線を裏切ったのか。
目的とな
What
る
the fuck is this?
警報は解除したんじゃないのか。
定か、そちらの進行は。
潜入経路に問題はない。みんな黙らせていいんだよ。
彼女の専門は暗号を破る。
それ以外に理由はない。
待て。
アニメ
お前とは相性が悪いみたいだ。
アニメWhat? What? Why is that an anime? Why is that an anime? That was so cool! Oh my god, I'm so fucking high! I'm high! Oh my god. Kanan! Kanan! I can get to- Yes, it's Kanan! Yes! Oh, I'm so excited right now. Oh, we gotta go! We're going! We are going right now. Right the fuck now, you hear me? I'm just confused this you, RJ. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. See, it has to be her, the other one. No? Yes! I was right. Kanan. Anime Kanan! I tried so hard not to spoil it. Yeah, like, but then again, like, even if you'd spoiled it was Kanan, I would have never expected this. Also, I realize now that her name is Kanan, and not Kanan. Just Kanan. Oh, I love that! Oh my god, I'm hyped right now. Anime! Kanan, the anime. Okay, Alfred Elsha. Okay, that's... The solitary serpent. The snake has lost 8 of its 9 heads. In the Middle East, the snake is seen as an ill omen. And those who take it as their name are said to be both wicked and extremely cunning. Anime is finally real. I know, right? Anime! Anime! Anime is finally real. I fucking love this. I'm hyped. If I give in to sentimentality, I'll have lost my light all over. I don't mind this. This is kind of wild. I'm in. I don't know. Good. The blue sun rose into the sky. As the girl rushed through the airport, she was met with an intense light of the summery dawn. April 28th, 8:21 a.m. Singapore Changi Airport. Let out a weary breath. It's actually really cool how the anime version has like almost the same energy as the live action stuff. Like, I can't explain it, but it has just like the same flavor. Is that a way to say it? A shaft of sunlight blazed across her face and she squinted her eyes against the glare. The night had been a long one and she could feel exhaustion taking hold. She wanted to stop and sink into one of the sofas in the airport lounge, but she didn't have time for that now. Kanan's actor got shafted, haha, I know.
何様のつもりだ。末端組織の一つや二つ。あいつにはハルワみたいなものってことか。
Okay, Halawa. Also known by other names including Halawa and Halewe, maybe? A popular confection throughout the Arab world, typically made with ingredients such as sesame, apricots, or grains, kneaded together with sugar and some type of oil or fat. Is said to have originated in ancient Mesopotamia. I don't know, I like this with the like, it's so, you know what I know what's funny to me? That in the live action, never once did people speak. Wait. You're kidding me! Was that what you... Wait, is that what you got me? I still have it in my cabinet. Wait, that's it? Okay. The stuff that you call it, what did you say? Well, it was called chalwa? Or, was that what you say they call it in Poland? I'm sorry, my memory is halwa. Yeah. That was what, but it's basically halwa. Okay, that's so cool. I didn't know that. You did say it was made with sesame, so I was like, when you said that. Okay, that's cool. I still haven't managed to make other people try it because I did not like it. Muttering curses that seemed at odds with her young face, the girl wove her way gracefully through the sea of travelers. Time was of the essence. All she had in her hidden back pocket were some dollar bills. The dollar is the unit of currency in several countries, including Canada and Australia, but here refers to the United States dollar, controlled by the Federal Reserve Bank. At the time of the story, it is frequently used alongside the euro as a standard currency for international transactions. She was just going to have to acquire the gear she needed on site. It galled her to be so under-equipped. The only consolation was that at least she'd been able to arrange for a boarding pass in time. Kanon refocused instantly as an unfamiliar man addressed her in Arabic. Was he a thief or some more dangerous third party? This is a country where both one's money and one's life could easily be at risk. She had one way to find out what kind of threat she was dealing with.
日本行きの便はどれ?
Her voice was sweet and girlishly soft. The man gasped. He hadn't been expecting this. They hadn't told him what he was really in for. Rika was the natural enemy of the Serpent, a steely soldier in a proxy war. A professional freelancer who took any requests, and who always carried out her mission. A mere hour earlier, she'd taken out an armed syndicate 30 members strong, the red flowers of blood left in her wake, a testament to her rumored capabilities. It's so cool, though. What kind of twisted fairy tale was this, with mercenaries who looked like sweet little girls?
何? 手配はできなかった?
いや、搭乗は6番ゲートだ。パスとチケットなら。
分かってる。右のポケットでしょ。すごいな。渡されるまで気づかなかった。
The man gasped again, his surprise shifted to caution. With all the bystanders around, it should have been easy enough to make a handoff without even the recipient ever noticing. He was proud of his skills, but still she'd seen right through him.
落ち込まなくていいよ。あなた、入り口で電話をしていた人でしょ。私はあなただって分かってたのに、渡されるまで気づかなかった。それってすごいことだ。私、あんまり人は尊敬しないんだけど、あなたには本当に感心してる。
Yeah, she also, the VA they picked for this is also really good. I don't know who it is. She seems vaguely familiar, but maybe I've heard her somewhere before. I mean, I've played and watched, and I've played some games, watched some animes, you know. I've probably heard it before. No, since the moment I arrived, he thought. If she hadn't figured it out from his appearance, she just intuited it somehow. She'd also immediately sensed that he was ashamed, even though he kept his face a perfect blank.
恐れ入った。蛇の天敵というのは間違いではなさそうだ。
一度も殺してないのに天敵っていうのはすごく皮肉だ。
First the girl had acted deliberately blasé, now she was being downright cynical. It's a little unstable, and totally adorable. He had to remind himself that this was her. How many soldiers must she have killed? How many battlefields had she survived? Hers was the life of a professional assassin. The fact that she had retained apparent normalcy in the midst of such disorder was more than a little unsettling. The man was astonished that this was the famed rival of the serpent. One did not strike at the snake without exceptional cunning and skill. Hers was the perfect camouflage, a mercenary in the guise of a child.
まあ、誤解でもないし、別にいいよ。それで、話の裏は取れた。
あ、確認は取った。大越製薬研究所所長大沢の娘は確かに誘拐されている。こちらのセルの活発化は何らかの陽動と見るべきだ。
In order to avoid being compromised, anti-government organizations that carry out illegal activities, as well as terrorist groups, frequently organize themselves into smaller subgroups known as cells. Typically, only the leader of each cell knows how to contact the upper echelons. Thus, rank-and-file members who are exposed to and arrested are incapable of leaking information about the larger organization to outsiders. The name cell is taken from the biological. Kanan gritted her teeth. Her latest mission, concluded just an hour ago, had been to meet with this armed group, the Serpent. That was fine. Everything had gone off splendidly without a hitch. The job had been even easier than she'd imagined. There was no cost to get bent out of shape. But the info she'd gotten her hands on had done quite a number on her move. The Serpent herself was on the move. Japan, Shibuya, Okoshi Pharmaceutical, possible CIA involvement, assumed large-scale urban terrorism at work. That message had lifted the veil from her eyes. At long last, Alfred herself was out in the open, head of the snake expo. What a perfect opportunity to cut it off. but of all places to set the stage, Japan. CIA involvement could pose a problem. She wouldn't be surprised if the Serpent had already coiled herself around the Americans. When it comes to the Serpent, not even the US government could be trusted to keep itself free of influence. And the target was Okoshi Pharmaceutical. If that wasn't a sign, she didn't know what it was. Was that just coincidence? No, Allah was Al-Qadir, all-powerful. Yet the girl frowned in disappointment. Would he have to go so far as to pen such a perfect tale? She had fought such grand acts of fate were a relic of the distant past. But you could sense his hand in these events. She'd hurried to get the intel confirmed at once, and had quickly arranged a flight to Japan. Maybe she was a freelancer, not aligned with any particular organization, but she still had connections. She had many tools in her arsenal. People were often the most convenient. If they excelled at what they did, so much the better. Many individuals sought to curry her favor. Sympathizers like the men who'd made the handoffs here, who would intervene on her behalf. Groups or individual activists who favor a particular political organization or ideology and who demonstrate support without directly participating in the faction's activities.
ありがとう。じゃあ行くけど、他に何か言われてる？
現地に一人ワキールを用意した。渋谷への足を用意しているそうだ。着陸後、貨物室から降りられるようになっている。滑走路から直接ハイヤーを飛ばす。
Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. Her voice is so good.
あ、無駄足にならないよう祈っているとも。思いのほか、ラフィーク・カナンは我らのアニールから高い信頼と敬愛を受けている。今回は最悪、痛み分けでいいそうだ。
It's okay to die as long as I take the target down with me. The man thought of nothing but his honor, his pride. No reconciliation, no negotiation, no submission. Three tenets that mattered more than preventing bloodshed. Whatever designs these two organizations had on each other were of no concern to her, but even so.
言われなくても、3度目なんて死んでもごめんだ。
Once her client's wishes aligned perfectly with her own. Her flaxen hair trailed behind her as she went toward her. She didn't look back. Also, game was like, okay, let Mina's rest her voice now. I know, my voice is finally resting. Except I keep talking like a moron. You know? The flight from Singapore to Japan was roughly 7 hours. The Serpent had surely anticipated that her enemy would pursue her there. No likelihood there would be a minimal window between Kanan's arrival in Japan and the Serpent's plan coming to fruition. Yeah! Yeah. Let me just, I want to fix something real quick. I'm gonna do that disappear. Oh! I just want to set the mic sensitivity just a little lower. Maybe here. Yeah! I think that's fine. And then Mina back. Oh! I return.
ほんと、少年が腐ってる。
The Serpent wouldn't be so clumsy as to let someone from back home in the Middle East, especially a foe like Kanan, find out about this by accident. If she'd let the plan leak, that meant that it suited her purposes somehow. It would seem she wanted to entice Kanan to risk hope before trampling her underfoot. You won't lay a finger on me. You won't lay a finger on me. Voice sneered at her, backstage murmur in her mind. She'd dealt with the enemy's diversion, learned of the plan just in the nick of time, and rushed off to Japan without a second hesitation. Japan was where it would all be decided. If she didn't do battle with the Serpent, she would lose yet another close friend. Had the Serpent engineered the situation simply to torment her?
けど、今回は少し予定が違う。渋谷の文字は、お前とは相性が悪いみたいだ。
She spoke to herself to calm down her gnawing impatience. The time it took to write Shibuya and the time it took to write Alfred were nearly the same, but the youthful and complex nature of the city of Shibuya ran out. Her instincts were something akin to fortune-telling, a tendency to reimagine the world around her in a way that was neither wishful thinking nor sour grape. She had a sense of conviction that hovered near the truth. But she knew she couldn't let herself get optimistic. The Serpent possessed powerful venom. It was possible that, even if Alfred's plan was foiled, the life Kanan hoped to save would still be lost. There truly was no time to spare. crushing the fringe group in Singapore had gone more quickly than she'd anticipated. She'd planned on obliterating them at the break of dawn, but she'd been struck by a sudden familiar sense of urgency and had acted an hour ahead of schedule. A change of plans had led to this. She had obtained the intel just slightly earlier than Alfred might have anticipated and had put speed above all else in arranging the trip to Japan. Right now, she could only hope that the single hour she'd bought herself would let her save her friend's life.
Maria.
The warm breath flooded her mind. They'd met 2 years ago. She remembered the day as an ordinary one. An unassuming tourist was getting hassled by the same sort of guys that caused trouble all over the world. Kanan's stash of her favorite snack had just run out, and it left her in an irritable mood. Maybe that was why she'd stopped at the sight of the scuffle. Not that she had any interest in helping. The man just gave off an eyesore of a color. Her sip was far too noisy, and she wanted to be rid of him. I'm not gonna attempt to. I'm sorry. I don't want to say it wrong, and I'm scared. At the grateful tourist, her hand outstretched. I'm assuming she said thank you or something like that. She asked if Kanan would be her guide, which Kanan tried to ignore, but the young woman persisted. This girl was a person raised in peace, from a peaceful country. Kanan wasn't the kind to hold that against her, or rail against the unfairness of the world. It didn't mean she wanted to put up with it either. A Yabania like her was practically a different species. How could they even understand each other? Kanan was closer to an animal herself, and respectable people didn't get close to animals that were still untamed. Humans had overcome their feral side, they'd become creatures of intellect. When such intellect was fostered over the years, the benefits were clear. And yet... Aww, that is a very fitting voice for Maria, I think. Tourist approached her, oblivious. Kanan could recall the warm color from that moment. It still triggered her memories. It was a pleasant color, one that she had been touched by before. This tourist, Maria, was not so remarkable as to draw the eye. Nothing about her seemed especially worthy of admiration. There's just something special about the wholesome smile she offered to the dangerous creature she should never have approached.
そっか、天然なんだ。
Tennen? Oh my god. You have no regard for personal safety, right? Kanan smiled. There was something powerful about people who couldn't get a read of their own situation. It's the first time she smiled earnestly in a long while. The first time since she'd lost her light a second time. Man, I love it when this game became an anime. It would be several hours before the plane landed in Japan. She did her best to ease her inner tension and let herself rest in preparation for combat. Wait, do you think that, like, maybe Kanan was just, like, played by one of the other actors and, like, they just didn't have I don't know. Or maybe it was done on purpose. I actually don't even know. Her orders were simple. Save her friend, capture the serpent. The objective was the same as it had been before, that summer 4 years ago, when she'd gotten the tattoo on her left arm. A very long day when she'd been reborn as the Kanan she was now. Yup, 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 yup. Yup, 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 yup. We flying. Oh my god, I love this game. I'm having a good time. Ooh. Artsy. The rumbling of a diesel engine sounded in her ears. The color that went with that sound indicated that the engine was running well. The interior of the compartment was rife with the smell of ramal. Eftan. A dangerous blue, a gentle red, a painful yellow. Those the colors of the many people aboard the train as we chugged along. The train had set out from Al Hadifa, northwest of Baghdad, and after a journey of 300 kilometers, it was approaching the Jordan border. At the front of the train was an antique diesel locomotive. This is followed by first-class carriages, coach-class carriages, and also several of the women-only carriages, unique only to the Middle East. It was a long train, though not exceptionally so. In some Islamic countries where men and women are prohibited from sitting together for religious reasons, women-only train cars are common. Depending on the country, the sexual segregation may be so strict as to apply even to children. Sometimes even young boys must separate from their mothers in order to ride in men-only Okay, that's extreme. That's a little extreme. Imagine being like 4 years old and it's like, you're leaving mommy! I'm sorry. Was just thinking about it. It was remarkable that there was a line running between Iraq and Jordan. Traffic between the two countries, especially via railway, had been drastically reduced as a result of war. Many of the lines had long since fallen into disuse. But now that the West was working towards the reconstruction and the stabilization of Iraq, Japan had also helped to plan a railway between Iraq and Jordan, and had laid down a temporary rail line. The train's final stop was not the border, but 300 kilometers beyond it, in Amman, the Jordanian capital. Huh. This trip would be a turning point. Sundown would see the venerable... Ah! Yabara! Hello! Oh my god, welcome! Welcome, Raiders! Hello! Welcome, Worm! Hello, hello! Welcome, the Enforcer 12! Doggo! Hello! Welcome, welcome, welcome! Oh my god, hello, Raiders! How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? What were you playing today, Jobara? Oh, let's give... Hello. Let's give you a shout out. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Thank you so much. Oh, you were just chatting. What were you chatting about? Wait, I think I remember I saw you. Wait, you were doing were you doing a smash or pass with FNAF characters? I feel like I saw it. Was that today? Or was that another? Was that you? Maybe? Oh, come on! Oh dear. Sometimes we see the venerable old train service come to an end. We're playing this game and it suddenly became an anime. This game suddenly became an anime. Just telling you, this is exciting. This game finally became an anime. The compartment where Kanan rode was boisterous with noise and human energy. Wind and the sound of chugging wheels rushed in together through windows with no glass. It's the only rail service currently linking Iraq and Jordan. The new line drew passengers from all walks of life. A freelance journalist returning from Baghdad, an Indian peddler carrying a piece of luggage larger than himself, a group of women who appeared to be members of some Scandinavian NGO. No one seemed bothered by the clamor. Passengers shouted and prattled on as they pleased. Ooh, various sounds, miscellaneous colors, confused scents, myriad textures, manifold flavors. I was just talking about how you were playing a visual novel, not anime, but with the actor's bride. I know, right? At the very last junction, it changes into an anime. At the last junction, it becomes an anime. It's the funniest thing. This is such a Spike Chunsoft move. Holy crap. All of these sensations mixed together as if a stew pot, and Kanan gulped them down. See, it's an anime now. Yet the stimulation they provided was weak. It was like lamb without enough salt. So she reached into her pocket for a dose of her favorite pick-me-up, crunching it between her teeth. Jabara used false advertise and be ready to recall. Yeah, I know, right? Hannah was in a foul mood. She's on this train to do a job, but nothing had happened for 3 hours now. The further journey had proceeded without incident, and she had no opportunity to act. The man she called Sharik had assigned her this mission. They were traveling together. Theirs was a rare team, no longer with Mutadari, master and student. They were partners. Ooh. Still, this was a complete letdown. The atmosphere on the train set her on edge. Despite... How could you? I know, right? Save that for you, Lord! Despite the instability of present-day Iraq, there were no soldiers aboard, only several policemen. Supposedly, this limitation of the military presence was all out of concern for the complicated political situation. But you couldn't help but wonder if it was more a concern for saving money on soldiers' pay. The major powers touted peace while enforcing virtue when they could be bothered. This railway was just one more example of their dubious policies, supposedly established to help foster interpersonal exchange and economic revitalization. It had originally been used for military transport until public travel was more useful for somebody's agenda. Oh, yeah.
善意の国際協力ってものが本当にあるなんて思ってもみなかった。これの持ち主はよっぽど平和で幸せなんだな、シャム。
ひねくれているな。善意の第三者は信用ならないか、カナン。
Ooh, dad. He has a dad voice.
別に 信用なんてシャムしかできない。
Dad voice!
そういうのが相手なら仕事はいつも楽だろうなって思っただけ。嫌ってる
Nobody
わけじ
cares
ゃない。
about your robot fantasies. I just did a stream talking about how Smash a Robot Furry. I should be cancelled for something worse than false advertisements.
結構襟好みがないのはいいことだ。だが善意と私欲どちらが組みやすいかは仕事の内容によるな。善意には損得がない分人間らしい交渉が通じない。それはそれで厄介だぞ。
I hope you have fun at dinner, Joe Barra. Thank you so much for the raid. I love you. I'm so glad we had a good stream. Virtue. Virtue was just another name individuals gave to their own biased sense of justice. A rigid and fanatical concept, subject to any number of arbitrary beliefs. One man's virtue was another man's depravity. The very idea made her think of those interminable meetings between political factions. People puffed themselves up as wise and sat at the conference table without the slightest interest in the other side's values. To them, all that mattered was what they had already decided was good and right.
損得がないね。どうすれば利益が出るのか、どうすれば生き残れるか分かってるのに、目先のお金には転ばないってこと？もっと派手に人生そのものをつまずき続ける？
客観的に見れば安酒のようなものだ。それは手に入れやすく悪酔いしやすい。泥酔している人間に話し合いは期待できない。説得するより先にまず荒ごとで酒を抜かなきゃならん。
例えば眉間を秒速で打ち抜いて。
ああ、まあ頭にアルコールが詰まっているかは疑問だが。
The man named Siam curled up the corners of his mouth. Though he wasn't a fundamentalist Muslim, he still detested alcohol as a tool of the devil. But his use of booze as a metaphor now was inspired less by his inner demons than by his unique sense of humor.
もう笑わない方がいいって言ったのに、シャム笑うと顔が怖いんだから。
Harsh, yes, but it needed to be said. You look creepy, old man, she says. Siam's smile was a rare bird newly come to roost. The two had known each other for several years now. Back in the day, she had never known him to smile. As a change of habit, it felt unsettlingly like a sort of surprise attack.
知っている。そう忠告されて以来、笑わないよう努めていた。まあ、俺たちの雇い主は苦行を美徳としている。笑わないというのは方針に合っているだろう。
Kanan herself was equally guilty of a rare dislike. Her own sour expression had completely turned around. The only time she'd expressed human-like joy was when she and Siam were alone together. Her name was Kanan. Trained by Siam, a veteran mercenary, she had just turned 14 years old. 14! She's just 14, Jesus Christ. Kanan was not her real name, but a nickname given to her 2 years prior. Hers was a familiar story, that of a child who had lost her parents in her village to the ravages of war. Unlike most who shared such a beginning, however, she'd had two major strokes of luck. The first was the ability she'd been born with. The second was that she'd met someone who taught her how to foster that ability. As a girl orphaned by war, she'd almost inevitably taken up arms. Making herself useful to the powers that surrounded her had been the only way to survive. The only people she could depend on, the only ones who gave her anything, were them. The moment she didn't meet their expectations, she would go back to being a mere orphan. And so this girl, a victim of war, fell under the protection of the warmongers and was trained to be one of their soldiers. But then, she was picked up by a man, Siam, who freed her from those who had robbed her of her past. He had no ideology. He was unlike the others that she had known in her broken world, the wandering people who had formed a new nation to be their promised land, and the ones they'd driven out, now wanderers themselves who styled themselves liberators. Siam was a mercenary who had been hired by those would-be liberators, but he paid no heed to the ideologies of either side. He was a soldier who lived to fight, knowing he was unlikely to see the conflicts end during his lifetime. Damn. Kanan didn't know how long Siam had been working as a mercenary. By the time she'd wound up in his care, he was already a veteran worthy of her confidence. He told her that he'd been kicked out of the army, that he preferred the solo missions where he could focus on his objective without worrying about fellow operatives. In that sense, he was something closer to an agent provocateur than an ordinary mercenary. Siam was well aware of his distinct style and position. He sometimes revealed a hint of shame at the fact that the assignments he was given were not official missions, but instead were referred to as jobs. Still, he was known as a valuable asset on the liberation front. They were a guerrilla organization facing off against superior Israeli forces. A lone mercenary who could carry out major operations by himself, he had fit in well with the guerrilla strategy. The fact that he was disposable if and when the time came was also quite appealing. And Kanan, once Siam took her in, had grown not as a soldier but as a specialized covert operative. That was her good fortune. The orphan's talents weren't particularly well suited to acting as part of a unit. He was far better at being a solo diversionist, acting against the enemy organization. And so she had ceased to be a soldier, instead training as a diversionist. She fulfilled her new role adeptly. Siam and Kanan, they worked in concert as secret agents, infiltrating, gathering intel, conducting sabotage. She'd learned to operate without backup. Typically, one of the duo would sneak into enemy territory alone, while the other acted in a logistics or liaison role. Here and now, however, with their objective aboard this moving train, responding to an urgent request from their employer, the two were working together as a team.
でも列車で輸送するってそんなに大きなものなの今回のは。
いや、物自体は個人で所有できる大きさらしい。中身は俺たちの管轄ではない。事実としてそれがあるかないかの確認が先だ。
なんだ、それならもう終わりだ。私とシャムで見て回ったんだから間違いないよ。この列車は外れ。どこをどう見ても普通の車両だし、おかしな手触りもなし。輸送の予定が1日ずれたか、こっちの動きが漏れたか。そもそも初めからそんな計画はなかったってとこじゃない？
いや、今回の情報に限って空振りはない。信用できる提供者だからな。
I also feel like I recognize his voice, Jesus. They received the intelligence 2 days prior. Even by their own fast-moving standards, this job was inordinately rushed. Kanan, you bibby. She's nice. I like her. Member of American military deployed in Iraq has contacted a Mossad agent. Indications suggest the plan to deliver and hand over weapon. Okay. The Israeli Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations. Mossad conducts foreign intelligence gathering and counter-terrorist operations along with covert infiltration and the like. It is one of the arms of the Israeli intelligence community, along with entities such as the Shabak, Israel's security agency, which handles domestic counterintelligence. Historically, the director of Mossad has acted as the governing chairperson of these agencies. Mossad is regarded as one of the premier intelligence agencies in the world. Board Iraq-Jordan Railway and gather intel. Recover payload if possible, destroy if not. Weapons will be transferred, enemies scored, and loadout all unknown. No logistical support will be provided during operation. It's uncertain why the enemy had chosen to move the mystery weapon along such a dangerous overland route, but the information came from the source that both Siam and the Liberation Front trusted absolutely. The source had made it clear that the enemy forces were in a hurry to transfer this unknown new weapon. This was a tip that the Liberation Front could not overlook, and they directed Siam to act immediately. The situation was somewhat delicate because the enemy had decided to use a train to cross the border as their means of transport. Given the tenuous political balance of the region, the Liberation Front couldn't risk open military action targeting an international train running from Iraq to Jordan. That's fair. Political pressure from Israel and the US might have led the Jordanian government to give tacit consent to a weapons transfer, but if the freedom fighters intervened on a large scale, it would surely invite a military response. Man, this kind of shit is so complicated. Like, even reading about it, it's just like, war sucks. Worst case, things might spiral out of control and trigger yet another full-scale war in the Middle East. Thus, the job at hand required utmost secrecy. The enemy would disavow involvement in any clandestine transport, and those who moved against them must be similarly able to deny any involvement. Stopping and destroying the secret payload was a job for covert agents, and so Siam and Kanan had hurriedly boarded the train, where they'd been spending their time staring out the window. 4 hours had passed without any incident on board. Now they were arriving at the halfway point on their journey, the Jordanian border. Border checkpoint! Get your passports! There abruptly, things began to change. Without warning, the train, which has hitherto seemed like a promise of safe passage, grew thick with the dangerous scent of an escort convoy.
台車の変更？何それ？そんなの聞いてないし、聞いたこともないよ、シャム。
レール幅の問題だ。これまでレールはスタンダードゲージだが、ここからはロシアの援助で敷設された幅1524ミリのブロードゲージが残っているんだろう。
Standard gauge. Railway track with a 1435mm space between the rails. It is the standard in the United Kingdom where it originated, and due to internationalization, an estimated 60% or more of the world's railways use standard gauge. Railway with tracks spaced farther apart than standard gauge. The broader gauge offers some advantages, such as improved stability for cars and better resistance to crosswinds. Russia, India, and Finland are among the countries that use broad gauge, along with some parts of Spain. Huh, sure.
レール幅が異なる路線を運行する列車は1両ずつ車体を持ち上げ台車ごと車輪を付け替える。
The wheel exchange made for an extended delay. Each car in turn has to be removed from its couplings, and the car was loaded onto a lift and refitted for the broad gauge track.
手間がかかるね。走れないならここから走れる列車に乗り換えればいいの。
ダイヤの遅延に文句を言うほど裕福な乗客はいないさ。
Yeah.
荷物を改められるわけでもない。列車も乗客も無事目的地に着けるのならそれでいい。
そう。確かにいちいち文句を言うほど余裕はないよね。けどシャム。
Canon sensed that there was more going on than just the switching over of the train's wheels. The train was being expanded. A freight car, clearly meant to carry goods of higher quality, was being added, sandwiched between of a new pair of passenger cars. A total of 3 new cars were added. The only passengers in the 2 compartments surrounding the freight car were armed soldiers.
青一色だ。1車両に7人。合わせて14人。これも予定にあった？
いや、ここまでは考えもしながら貨車の増設か。あからさまだが事前対応は難しい。
You were seeing a complex plan unfold, one that would be traceable after the fact, but which might be impossible to stop while it was in motion. They now faced a significant force of enemies that they might have to neutralize using only the firepower they had on their person. Based on the orders Sham had received, there was 0 chance they'd receive any backup.
あいつらが兵士なのは間違いないけど、どこの所属かまでは見えないよ。
彼らが乗客に偽装した兵士であり、貨車が加わったのなら問題ない。イスラエル側の兵士かどうかは貨車の中身が証明してくれるさ。
そっか。今わかるのは私たちのことはバレてないってことか。連中安全だと判断したからことに出たんだよね。
そういうことだ。問題は
The freight car transfer cast everything into doubt. It seemed to confirm that there was indeed a weapons delivery taking place. But recovering the payload was going to be more difficult than anticipated. I mean, I'm stunned. I had no idea you could do such good JP voices for a manly man and a child. I know, right? Wow, my talents sure are being showcased here. Oh my god. Okay. It's quite... The train transfer process is finished without a hitch. The other passengers paid it a little heed. Evidently, they were accustomed to this sort of delay. It's interesting. I wonder what's going to happen.
強引な計画だね。おかげで応援を呼ぶことも装備の補充もできなかった。後先考えてない計画はやっぱり独特の善意から来るもの。
まあ、周りが見えてないあたり、強硬派らしいと言えなくもない。
Man. It's gonna be hard. At last, the train left the border behind. There were no planned stops between the frontier and Amman. Kanan and Sham needed to complete the job before the train arrived in Amman, which meant within the next 4 hours. The odds were 2 against 14. The difference of power is so great, it seemed absurd to even consider a plan of attack.
ザイームの配置ミスだよ、シャム。2人でやる仕事じゃない。あからさまに来るならいっそ爆破すればいい。停車中にセムテックスでも仕掛ければよかったんだ。
Semtex, a plastic explosive developed in Czechoslovakia. It is clay-like and easily formed into different shapes. A similar type of explosion, Composition 4, C4, is used by the U.S. Armed Forces, is perhaps more famous. It's used by many military organizations due to its durability and ease of transport.
乱暴だが効率的だな。俺たちの仕事が殲滅ならそれで行きたいところだな。
We go boom boom. Mina, honestly, when you were close to finish the 48, did you imagine there was that much more? No. No. I mean, I was convinced that Kanan was dead. Wow. Wow. I did not expect it to be an enemy. That was not on my list of things that I expected to happen. They had checked the cars pretty thoroughly before they departed. Taking something aboard the freight car would probably have been close to impossible.
じゃあどうするの？正面から14人はちょっときついよ。
いや、
そんな賭け事をするまでもない。人手なら
No big gamble.
もう一人ここで合流する予定だ。
Kana was shocked. She felt an unfamiliar kind of fear. As far as she had known, Sham never teamed up with anyone but her.
失礼。同席するよ。他の席は男ばかりでどうにも居づらいんでね。
As soon as the stranger spoke, Kanan saw Sham's color shift to a pale, pale blue. A bad sign. Bad sign!
失礼。同席するよ。
Her voice was low. The muscles in her arms were taut like a corded rope. Kanan anime happens like 2 years after the 428 ending. Yeah. To Kanan's eyes, her visage was a complex meld of shifting colors.
こいつ
It went without saying. This is their sole reinforcement, their first teammate.
構わない。座ってくれ。
どうも。なあ、場所を譲ってくれないかお嬢さん。子供は保護者の横に座るものだ。その位置は私向けだろ。シャム、お嬢さんは耳が遠い。それともアラビア語はわからない。
You're speaking Japanese, lady!
カナ、俺の横に座れ。彼女は今回の情報提供者で、我々の雇い主の一人だ。俺とは古い馴染みでもある。
Kanan said nothing, but she did get up from her seat and fixed next to Sham. She'd do as he asked, although she didn't trust him. She didn't like the way he'd said old friend, brought up all her natural cynicism. That's fair.
ご挨拶だな。シャム、この子がお前のバックアップか。
いや、今回俺はダーファフだ。こいつはシナーン向けでな。腕は水準以上だが、村っ気がありすぎる。目の前に相手がいないと目を覚まさないのでは、守りは任せられん。
それは。まだ訓練中というわけか。
The woman regarded Kana with a cold gaze. She gave the impression of a snake trying to sense the body temperature of potential prey.
いいね。可愛いじゃないか。タイプだよ。で、その左手は人並みに動くのか。訓練途中のお嬢さんは体の管理もできない半人前。
Kana glared sidelong at the woman. She wasn't offended by the remark itself. The fact was that her left arm was still in pain. What unsettled her was this woman's powers of perception, able to detect Kanan's injury through the heavy cloak he wore. Imagine someone who saw the 428 game screenshots of the live action, then you show them this and say it's the same game. I know, right? It's like, hey, do you know what is also 428 Shibuya Scramble? This.
動くよ。少しすりむいただけ。すぐ。
そう。ならいいが、原因は傷をつけたのは列車に乗る前か乗った後か。それでお前がまだ半人前の兵士か、ただの間抜けかわかるんだ。
Kana did not reply.
だんまりか。おいシャム、どっちなんだ。
Wait. You're genuinely telling me that they actually made an anime? You're not just japing with me? Wait, no, you're lying. No! Stop lying. Wait, what? Wait, that's... Wait. That's Maria? Wait, I know this anime! Wait! I know this anime! I didn't see it, but I know it! I know this anime! I know that anime! I never watched it, but I've seen it before. No, I gotta watch it. I need to watch it. We need to watch it. I gotta watch it. I can't live without that. That's so cool. So is this... I was about to ask if this is supposed to be Alfred, but I'm not sure. Had you seen something in that silence?
はあ、そういうこと？
We could do that on our off times. Like, come on, it would be great. A stranger could read Sham's silence better than anyone, better than his own partner. The woman's stoic face grew just a shade brighter. Her smile was entirely sarcastic, but at least it was a display of human emotion. It was a smile as if to say, well done, as if Kanon's injury was some faded thing.
見たところ戦争孤児か。
At least it's not Conan, we're able to finish it because, yeah.
懲りないなお前も。仕込みは何年になるんだ。
引き受けたのは2年前だ。
2 years ago. 2003, the Middle East, war orphan. All that information taken together left no question about just what battlefield she'd seen. The Iraq War. She'd lived through the long night of a war that, for the winning side, had been little more than a display of overwhelming resources and overwhelming technology.
安心したよ。半人前だが心構えはあるわけだ。では技術はこれから見させてもらおう。お前が連れてくる以上は一発には鍛えられているだろうしな。
Now that she'd inferred Kanan's background, the woman's embassy seemed to abate. Their initial reluctance to trust each other had apparently been mutual. Kanan wasn't necessarily happy, but if this was the team Sham wanted, he would accept it. As the woman had observed, Kanan had been trained by Sham after all, and Sham's judgment was absolute. Kanan knew him as her instructor and mentor, the ideal soldier, utterly reliable. I stopped at part 3 simply because Mina wants to watch part 4 and 5 with me, and I can't watch it on Netflix anyway because it's done, but I can't find time. Yeah, it's fine, we'll find the time, don't worry about it. She turned her gaze away from the woman and looked out the window. The passing scenery drew out her memories of the life she'd lived over the past few years. The girl who'd lost all her relatives to war. The tale of a child who'd never held a gun before. Become a full-fledged soldier at the heels of a veteran mercenary. All of it came hazily drifting back into her mind. Damn. All the life I'd had before was taken away by the war. The echoing of gunfire in the distance, the sound of buildings ablaze. Yeah, that'd be fun. I couldn't help but think of how much smaller and simpler those sounds were than I'd imagined them to be from stories. No place had ever seemed safer to me than my house, and it was reduced to ruin by a single artillery shell. A few moments later after that blast, a group of strange men came barging in. You could hear their heavy footsteps, their coarse voice muttering. They're dead, they're dead. We've killed them, we've killed them. Luckily for me, my father had been thinking quickly and had sent me into the basement. Unluckily, he and my brothers were still in the living room when the blast hit. It wasn't just the furniture that was now gone without a trace. I sat in the basement thinking. From the men's conversation, I realized they were looking for my father's corpse, my older brother's, and my own. I can remember every word these soldiers said. Something had clicked in my mind as I listened. I committed to memory how many men there were, what their voices sounded like, what names they called one another, that I would never ever forget. Focused on hearing their every word. For the next hour, I felt neither fear nor boredom. When it comes to JoJo, watching it on official websites is no good anyway, because most of the characters' names change for some reason. Well, I'm pretty sure that's copyright reasons, Jobara. If you want me to be honest about, I think it's copyright reasons that they changed the names, because they can't get away with it. Like fan subs can get away with it, you know. Just like how the fan translation of The Great Ace Attorney can call him Sherlock Holmes, but the original translation, like that's released as an official game, became Herlock Sholmes, because they had to change it for copyright reasons, basically. So like fan subs and stuff can just get away with more. Yeah, I know, it's frustrating. There's no trace of my. I gathered that there was no trace of my father's body, but they had found my older brother's. Satisfied, the soldiers left. All of this happened when I was 12 years old. Trapped under the rubble, it was days before I was rescued. I'd lost my family and any place to belong. The adults who found me realized that I had suffered emotional scarring, but they didn't have the time to bother with that. They're dead, they're dead. We've killed them, we've killed them. Ah, yes. There are too many things one needs to do in life. In my case especially, I expect I'm going to be overworked. Most of the copyright reasons, those are just whatever. Part 4 and 5 save and ready. Yeah, I have a headache and I'm trying to fix some stuff that happened on the empty server, but I'm here. Hello, Momo, welcome to the Dreamland. I hope you're having a good time. It was quite simple, the reason I took up arms. It was not atonement that I sought, but equal compensation for what I had lost. Unjust usurpers. These whose cost was reckoned in blood. I've still not been paid what I've owed. Dun dun! Aw, I hope you get some good rest. The bounds must be settled. I only ask as much as they took from me. That is why I carry on, never resting, with the relentless precision of a machine. It is simply a tale of sorrow, giving way to resentment, giving way to cold reason. Was it odd that I never felt malice? Perhaps I could see it too clearly. I could see things on a broader scale than others, see where the evil was, where the flaws were. I could see it all so clearly that I was dumbstruck into sheer objectivity. The weak or evil, my family, my father, people I should have been proud of, had too many flaws. People of conscience who esteemed a righteous society, who embraced complicated and contradictory things, who tried to become good sheiks. An Arabic word denoting the leader of a tribe or a wise man. An honorary term of respect for someone who commands trust. In the modern day, it is often used to refer to scholars, community representatives, and people in high-ranking management. How many failings created enemies, invited war, and brought on their defeat. Violence was a vulgar thing, far beneath the cultured behavior of my father and brother, but it still had the final word over them in the end. We may have been cruel to those who would shame us, yet we have tolerated too many of these foreign invaders. Balance is key. One must clad oneself in complexities, yet be simple at the core. Taking action always requires a first step. If someone takes from you, you take it back. If they kill you, you kill them back. Action and reaction. We should have thought more simply. By perceiving everyone different and ourselves as our enemies, we brought on the war long before it was inevitable. Even if my father and brother had been operating in a vacuum, they probably would have done the same. You guys are such dealing with griefers that literally stole everything they could get their hands on in my microservice stuff. Jesus Christ! Some stuff went on today, I see. Wow. I'm really sorry to hear that, Momo. I'm really sorry to hear that happened on the server. Yeah, that deserves a good old Mina knife. Wow, thank you for the cheer! Thank you for the cheer, Momo! I saw it in chat before it showed up on screen. Thank you so much! This is so sweet of you. Thank you. But every family has so many kin to hold dear. So many others cloud their perspective, except for me. Ha! My family and my kin are utterly gone. 100 marshmallows? Why not eat it all in one ice cream cone? God damn it! You're gonna keep bringing that up until the day I die, Jesus Christ. Apart from the determination I already possessed, I knew I needed to hold myself. My growing skills as a soldier were necessary for me to achieve my goals, and more basically, necessary for me to even survive my goals. In the beginning, that was all I really thought about. Once I become an orphan, I resolved not to rely on anyone. My trauma wouldn't let me trust anyone else. But I'm trying to get them to fess up before banning them, but no more negativity, I love you, man. I'm just, yeah, okay, I see, that makes sense. I think there's a way for Minecraft server to keep daily backup, so it's easy to revert. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if that's possible, maybe check it, if it's possible. And yet, eventually, I wound up feeling a sense of trust for this man who found me and committed 2 years to training me. Ah, thank you for the cheer! You're so kind, Momo. Thank you, Momo. I was thinking that maybe, like, also, like, maybe, like, that's why my stuff went missing? Cause like, it feels like, I don't know, like, it was just one of my chests that was missing, too. So I'm like, oh well. It was something I never thought I'd feel again. It happened today. Oh. Jan was always more a freelancer than soldier. He belonged to a liberation movement, but he made his living taking on jobs as a reliable mercenary. Oh, I see. I told you that the chest was a creeper accident. Oh, okay. Refers here to the Palestinian Liberation Movement, a political movement formed in response to the conflict arising between the newly resettled Jewish people and the pre-existing Arab-Palestinian residents, advocating freedom of the Palestinian people from Israeli rule. There's been a long recurring cycle of terrorism and revolts, followed by periods of peace, but to this day the issue remains fundamentally unresolved. I guess his role gave him a lot of freedom, because unlike a grunt who simply gets fired guns, he was allowed to act as a sort of instructor. He had no close ties within his organization, which was convenient for me. Found canon anime word of what? Yeah! Woo! Good. I'd taken up arms, not because of any ethnic conflict, but for my own personal cause. Oh, thank you for all the cheers. You're so kind. Thank you. I love the flag. Cute. Luckily for me, Sham ignored my unique background and upbringing and simply trained me to be a fighter, growing as an instructor along the way.
銃は性能を裏切らない。オートマチックは兵士の戦闘能力を平均化する。持つ側の技術が水準に達してしまえば、誰も彼も同じことしかできないようになっている。逆を言えば、現在の水準に達していない銃を選んだ者は真っ先に振るい落とされる。
I mean, either way is good. The gift subs will help me get like it'll help me get more emotes and stuff, but as you can see, I have a goal up. We're aiming for 35 next. But I get that's a lofty goal, so it's fine.
お前が初めに覚えることは、手にしたものが良質か粗悪かを測る術であり。
Yeah, sub goals for emote slots. Yes. Guns are simple, not nearly as complicated as people. You just pull the trigger. My father had handled weapons occasionally, but never showed me how to use one. Political struggle was his preferred form of conflict, and in the end, it was that bias that defeated him. I took up guns to avoid repeating his mistake, but also, the feel of a metal grip in my hand seemed to suit me. At least, that was how it always felt for me. Maybe my fondness for weapons was deliberately ingrained into me by Sham's instructions.
女であることを忘れるな。どれほど優れた才能であろうと、体格は変えられない。複数の敵と拳銃で撃ち合うときは、最も近くにいる敵に向けて2発撃ち込め。命中していなくても、足指の付け根を軸に向きを変え、次の敵を撃て。敵を接近させるな。
I mastered the basics that first year. I say this not out of any excess pride or self-confidence, but I was measurably the best of the soldiers other than Sham himself. After that, Sham and I began working jobs together. Sham was against it at first, but I had the ability, and he at least had the objectivity to acknowledge that fact. He was an exceptional teacher, and I was an even more exceptional student. I was an ideal subordinate, an inhuman competent, willing to use whatever I deemed useful to get an edge. I had countless brushes with death out on the battlefield. The reality of war is that people die regardless of their tech, their experience, their abilities. I ought to have accepted that reality when I lost my family, but it was the battlefield that made the truth completely clear. The society into which I'd been born. Wow! Mama! Thank you! I don't know why it says, thank you for the gift stamps! You're so kind! Ah! I'm being covered by Mina! That's a lot of Minas. Oh my Jesus Christ. That's a lot of Minas. Wow. Jesus. Well, now we know what that looks like. Love bombing. Fuck yeah! Thank you. I appreciate it. Yo, what? Yeah. Cal, congratulations on the gift stub! Congrats on the gift stub. I hope you will enjoy my emotes. Feel free to use them. Only death is truly impartial. Damn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the follow, Six. I appreciate it. You think this was craziest hits Twitch integrated throwing system? Yeah, it was. I mean, if I ever do get a live 2D, and that's gonna be when I get the money for it, 100% I am gonna integrate that into my, because come on, it's funny. It's funny to get to yeet shit at the streamer. I love that. I was able to survive through all this largely thanks to Sham's aptitude. He wound up protecting me countless times when inexperience put me in peril. I'm so gonna import a Hoodle model to yeet at you in Shibuya. I mean, that'd be great. We'll figure that out once we get that far, but first I need a model, you know? His intervention was not out of any fondness for me, but rather ah! Thank you so much for the follow, cow! Ah! Stop bucking me! So much is happening! Ah! Ah! Stop with the bug! Just got that in mind. Ah! Thank you so much for the follow! For any new followers, thank you so much. I'm holding community games on Friday. Join my Discord. Ah! Thank you for the crabbing! God damn it! I can't catch a fucking break! But yeah. Thank you. Wow! Feel free to join. Ah! Stop barking! Yay! Feel free to join my Discord, and we will play some games on Friday night. Come on, join my Discord. I'll do my big stretch.
big stretch.
Okay, there we go. That was a good stretch, thank you. Enjoy the beautiful emotes. They are good emotes. Thank you for the pet! Thank you so much for the pet, Argo. Thank you. Oh, good pet. Good pet. Thank you. Appreciate it. Many emotes. This intervention was not out of any fondness for me, but rather a cool calculation in the interest of completing the mission. He knew I could be counted on. No. Never much to look at. He accrued even more scars in the course of rescuing his risk-prone students. Hee so many fun emotes. I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. There was almost no place that he hadn't been shot, except somehow in the head. He only avoided getting shot in the fucking face. Kaboom! Maybe there was a trick to that. I wanted to ask him secretly, but there was no allowance for questions while he was my shield. I could only make such small talk when his time as my protector had come to an end. And even then, until this very moment, there'd never been a good time to ask. I just wound up believing that Sham would never die. No matter how many times people opened fire on him, he simply wouldn't get hit where it really mattered. Wow! That plot armor, bro! He has acquired plot armor. That was all probably a delusion on my part, of course, but the fact was that he just didn't die. Of course, his heart had already died some time before. Battles couldn't kill someone who was already dead. He deserved my trust. We were of the same breed, he and I. Sham would always have my back, no question.
稀に超人的な兵士が現れる。この先長く傭兵を続けていれば、そういう旗迷惑なものに出会うだろう。
My training was complete. I was no longer a student, but a mercenary, and this is what Sham had to tell me. I responded with sarcasm. What was this, some Hollywood script? Sham had never really joked with me before.
いや、SF ではなく現実の話だぞ。兵士同士の戦闘、個人装備の性能の向上は頭打ちだ。戦場において一個の兵士は均等に死んでいく。
Thank you so much for.
その次はお前のターンといった風に。
Thank you so much, Mama. I love you. Mama. Have fun lurking, and I hope you solve everything with your Discord and your Minecraft. I'm really sorry that all that stuff happened.
だが中にはその平等を覆す怪物がいる。
Sean went on to tell a story of two soldiers, one wielding a revolver and one an automatic handgun. The wildly anachronistic revolver was no match for the automatic. Even disregarding magazine size, a higher rate of fire meant superior firepower, period. A machine pistol capable of firing 3-round bursts would turn the revolver into Swiss cheese. Machine pistol typically refers to a handgun capable of automatic or semi-automatic fire, though frequently also denotes a weapon between the size of a pistol and a submachine gun. Because of their comparatively limited magazine capacity, such weapons are not, however, capable of the high volume of fire of a full-size machine gun. Famous models include the Beretta M93R and the Glock 18. Some modern automatic weapons are equipped with a switch that allows the option of firing 3 bullets each time the trigger is pulled, compared to full auto mode, in which the weapon will fire continuously for as long as the trigger is held down. Firing 3-round bursts allow for better conservation of ammunition and control of the weapon. Dang.
そう、リボルバーとオートでは話にならない。それが俺たちの認識であり、同時に兵士としての限界でもある。
Sham went on, talking about how similar weapons could equalize the abilities of soldiers, and about those who had removed that collar from the cells and deviated from that equilibrium. For instance, the unparalleled gunfighter capable of rapid fire like that seen in a Hollywood Western, a type of character who'd actually existed. Experts who could fan the hammer, unloading 5 shots at a target in the span of a single second. Of course, simple rapid fire alone wasn't worth fearing. It has to be accompanied by the skill to put it on target. Sham had probably just been trying to offer an explicit example of a time when exceptional human skill could surpass the capabilities of the available hardware. It had all seemed too fantastical, but he had been dead serious. Apparently, he'd run across such rule breakers in the past.
生まれついての戦争や、重機の申し子、強運の塊。我々とは違う身体の機能、身体機能に天性の差があるのは言うまでもないが、その才能がピタリと戦争に符合する幸運な兵士。戦場でのみ人間の規格から逸脱し、一個の兵士では起こし得ない戦果を上げるもの。
Man, this one seems a lot longer than the one with Susune. Still, even according to Sham, such supermen could only deal with 3 or 4 opponents within any given moment. So assuming you had 5 or more to attack, them in that moment, there'd be no problem taking them down. He wasn't talking mere fiction. But he also wasn't just telling some joke. So then what was the story all about?
お前は超人ではないが、極限では
Isn't this like short and sweet murder?
だからこそ気をつけろ。五体の境界を誤らず、己の才能に頼るな。お前は完成されている。自分の性能を正しく把握しているのなら、決して破れることはない。
Interesting. Thus did Shaman acknowledge my ascendance to the status of a warrior. It was an achievement to be proud of, to be seen as his sole peer as a combatant, perhaps even his better. I wonder what that Achi jump was all about. Wink. Fuck you! Fuck you! I know! Leave me alone. I'm gonna figure it out. More than anything, the esteem I held for Sham was a reflection of the esteem he showed me. We were the same. That's why when the time came, I had scarred my left arm. I wanted a physical symbol of our connection. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna figure out how to do it! Damn it! Jesus Christ. Do it! Do it! Do it, do it, do it, do it. Introductions were a simple affair. Sham had no need to give his name. Hanan had no interest in the woman, and the woman seemed satisfied with what she knew.
呼び方はシャムとお嬢さんでいい？
問題がないのなら、そちらの今の名前は？
ん？ああ、連携は必要だな。カナンというのはどうだ？
Ah? Kana couldn't suppress a sound of irritation. She tugged wordlessly on Sham's coat, like a pouting cat staking a claim to what it wanted for itself.
すまない。それは問題がある。
冗談だよ。今は定かで通している。
In Islam, this refers to the act of giving a spontaneous voluntary charity to the needy. It is distinct from zakat, a form of obligatory almsgiving. Huh.
それじゃ、そろそろ本題に入ろうか。
Sadaka never explained how the job would unfold. They waited until the train had traveled for an hour beyond the border before moving against their objective. Hopefully, they could finish the mission an hour before their arrival in Amman. Huh. Do it. Do. Hanan peered at Sham's face as he and Sadaka spoke. His color was, as always, blue. That shift earlier to an unluckier color, the cloudy whiteness of an unfamiliar stranger, had lasted only for a moment.
目的となる貨物車両は3両目。その前後である第2と第4車両にはそれぞれ7人ずつ護衛が配置されている。うち第4車両の2人は定期的に後部車両の見回りをするようだ。そら、噂をすれば。
Without even shifting her gaze, Kanan could confirm the presence of two soldiers moving through the car in which she sat. Two blue blotches passing by. The color of alert escort. A rending, inorganic blue. The color of fighters skilled in the use of the guns they carry. People who were this color usually rubbed Kanan the wrong way. Just being near them made her uncomfortable. Shan was a contradictory counterexample. Despite his dangerous hue, he eased her nerve. But whether the colors expressed themselves as painful or gentle didn't mean anything. The colors were merely colors. Whether warm or cold, everything was done neatly in simple colors, as if painted with run-of-the-mill materials. This actually reminds me of a short story we read for school. Oh my god, what's it called again? Fuck, I already forgot. I'm so bad, I'm sorry. But it was a short story about this girl. It was written by, what's her name? Hiromi Kawakami, I believe is her name. She's like, a pretty famous author in Japan, I think, of like young adult novels. Or, well, I guess it depends on the work, but she's written some novels for like younger people and stuff. And wait, it's called The Golden Path, Kido no Michi. No, Kido no Michi. I think that's what it's called. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but it's a short story we read for school, and it was about this girl, Nico, who she like kind of lived her life like, you know, like, oh, just kind of in a rough, precarious position in life, and she got into this relationship with an older man. I forget his name right now, but he could see people's colors. And it was like Nico had no interest in other human beings, but when she meets this guy and he's like, oh, look, you're this color today. and she was just kind of like interested in him, and it was just a really interesting story. I'm sorry for ranting, but this ability of Kanan's reminds me of that short story. It actually just ends with him like passing away and like Nico having turned her life around and stuff. It's a really interesting story. If you, I don't know if it's been translated officially though. I haven't seen one, but it was from like it was really good. I liked it. With a warm or cold, everything was done neatly in simple colors. This is painted with a run-of-the-mill material.
列車の最後尾は同じく貨物列車だが、こちらに積まれているものは至って健全な物資だ。
I see.
最悪の場合、ここに籠城できないこともない。まあ、催涙弾の一つでも投げ込まれればおしまいだがね。
いや、交戦は避ける。目撃者も犠牲者も出すなというのがオーダーだろう。
ことは秘密裏に。連中が私たちに気づくのは、列車がアンマンに到着し、何もかも立ち去った後か。いいね。それは私の注文通りだ。
Yeah, I mean that should probably be, you know.
では確認する。輸送の真偽は明らかになった。
Okay.
我々の目的はこれの奪還に移
なるほど
行する。変更点は
ない。スポンサーとして同志の行動に期待し、また私もこれに参加する。
Yeah. It had been just over 5 hours since they boarded the train. Kanata felt a sense of relief that at long last the action she'd been anticipating would finally commence. Their objective was to recover the parcel in the freight car toward the front section of the train. They would infiltrate the car without alerting the guards, acquire the payload, and then disembark from the train as if they were just normal passengers. Top priority was acquiring the item. Secrecy was secondary. If it turned out that they needed to take the payload by force, they'd been given permission to initiate combat. Violence was definitely on the table, if it came to that. Today, we pick violence. If they were detected, they'd wind up in a 3-on-14 shootout aboard a train.
OK。私とシャムの役割はわかる。けど、この女は何をするんだそもそもどうしてスポンサーが出向いてくる
彼女の専門は暗号破りだ。本来なら別の人間を手配するんだが、急な話だったからな。昨日の時点で合流できる専門職は彼女しかいなかった。
暗号破りって、それなら。
そうすねるな。この道ではこいつは一流だ。お前もいい経験になるさ。
随分とらしくないな、シャム。カナンという子供にほだされたというのは本当だったか。
人一倍手がかかっているだけだが、そんな話が触れ回っているのか。
いいや。我々がカナンという優秀な人材を手に入れたという話ぐらいさ。私もまさかこんなお嬢さんとは思っていなかったが。
私もお前みたいな女がスポンサーとは知らなかった。知ってたら2年もいなかった。
それは違うな。私は多くの支援者のうちの一人だ。指導者じゃない。だいたい一紛争に本腰を入れるほど暇じゃないんだ。
Guys, I don't know. How long is it? Are we long?
そのくせ、こんな仕事に顔を出してるじゃないか。
別件で近くに来ていてね。そのついでだよ。
Yeah, I was about to say this is quite long.
今回はネタがネタだし、無視するわけにもいかんだろう。
すればよかったのに。こんなの私とシャムだけで十分だ。
I don't remember exactly, but from what I know, there's still a handful of The images between the two have become like a steady rhythm, driving along their conversation. Okay, I'm just gonna go until the next save icon pops up. It did make them interesting to listen to, for better or for worse.
定か。その別件とは何か問題でも。
Hannah was intrigued. Sean wasn't the kind of person to ask a relevant question, but he twigged something that might affect the mission. Whatever the case, Sadaka smiled pleasantly.
プロジェクトの一つに問題が出てきてね。人材の調査と兵器の不具合の2点だ。そうだな。例えば、お前が懐に飲んでるものは殺傷能力が高い武器という触れ込みだが、当たったのに効果がないとクレームがあったとしたらどうだ？
何それ？そんなの不具合どころの話じゃない。れっきとした欠陥商品じゃないか。
ああ、 その通りだお嬢さん。
Hmm.
今まで信頼していたものに欠陥があったでは我々の信頼に関わる。無視してもいい不安要素なんだが、取り除けるなら取り除いた方が商品になるからね。現地に行って問題点とやらを確認し、しかるべき対処法を提出する。つまらない仕事さ。近頃はこんな駒遣いばかりだ。コードブレイカーならぬリスクブレイカーというところか。
そう。偉そうにしてるけど誰かの駒遣いなのは変わらないんだ。
You're just an errand boy.
全くだ。
Sadaka brushed aside Kanan's insult with an air of confidence. Kanan scowled. The woman was so sure of herself. She turned away and gazed out at the scenery outside, and then she realized the snack she'd been gnawing on was gone.
シャム、
今日は多いな。そんなに不満か？
シャム、話の途中だが少しいいか？
簡潔に済むのなら。
ああ、さっきから気になっていたんだが、お前の相棒は何を食べている？新手の携帯食か？
そんなものだ。試すか？
Like, what? A simple, unpretentious weekend. Purity of. It's just a
ではなく、そのものだ。ただの砂糖じゃないかこれ。
ああ、シュガースティックを固めたものだ。乾燥して固形化したものを見つけて以来、大のお気に入りでな。今じゃ注射器を使って固形化している。品質で言うなら日本製のものがいいそうだ。
sugar! But it's actually cocaine. Cannot focus on gnawing her own steak, not really listening to Sham's explanation. There's a brief silence. Sadaka let out a sullen sniff.
変わった思考だな。うまいのか？
うん。無駄がないのはすごく美味しい。
Sadaka raised an eyebrow dubiously. Come on, there's gotta be a save. Come on. Yeah, okay. That was a save. I saw it. Okay, that is gonna be it for today. Jesus Christ, this is way too long. I'm jeez. That was so much fun. Oh my god, that was so great. And thank you so much for the raid and all of that good stuff. Thank you for joining me today. We do be doing a lot of stuff. I'm really happy that we got to hang out and all that stuff. It's been a good time. So yeah. For the rest of this week, we're just gonna be playing as Seiya Ryza because it's very chill and I'm having a good time with it. And for Friday, we are playing Jackbox together with the community. Remember to join my Discord to check that out. Remember to join my Discord and check that out. Thank you. And yeah, I will see you guys later this week for some Seiya Ryza and then some Jackbox, and woo, it's gonna be a good time. I'm so glad for you joining me in this game that suddenly became anime. That was a good time. I'm thinking we're gonna raid Yami today. He seems to be playing Elden Ring, Argo, so I'm sure you'll enjoy that. So yeah, I will see you guys later this week, and I hope you enjoyed it today, and I hope you will have a good rest of your day. And I will see you guys soon. Yeah, the Ring of Elders, the Elden Ring of Dark Souls, the Dark Souls of the Elden Ring. Anyway, go say hi to Yami for me with a good old Mina raid, and use any of you new subscribers, use your emotes and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys soon. Goodbye. Oyasumi na.